the city of brotherly love. Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel for a massive Metropolitan Division showdown here in Philly. As tonight, the Flyers play host to the Carolina Hurricanes with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Hello, one and all. My name is Jaric Rubel. So happy to have you with me here on a Monday night for another watch-along. And the stakes could not be higher tonight for the Flyers as they come into tonight holding on to the third place spot in the Metropolitan Division, but the race behind them still is very tight as the Washington Capitals and Columbus Blue Jackets are still within striking distance. The Flyers here tonight will need 2 points in the standings if they want to clinch on their own terms. The good news, Philadelphia is playing some of its best hockey of the season at exactly the right time and has not shown many signs of slowing down. They're coming off a dominant performance against Winnipeg on Saturday, a game where everything seemed to click. Offensive production, defensive structure, and special teams all came together in a convincing 7-1 win. And perhaps most importantly, it showcased the identity this team has built throughout the year. What started as a season of uncertainty has turned into one built on belief, chemistry, and effort, as players up and down this lineup are contributing for Rick Tocchet, including the captain, Sean Couturier, the young guns as well, and Matvei Michkov, and especially the red-hot rookie, Porter Martone. He's continued to make an impact as the games grow bigger. And that's been the difference for this Flyer team. No passengers, just full commitment to playing their style of hockey when it matters most. But tonight's challenge is a good one, as the Carolina Hurricanes arrive as one of the league's elite teams, already crowned Metropolitan Division champions and gearing up for a deep playoff run. They've been rolling as of late, stacking wins and continuing to show why they're one of the most complete teams in the NHL. They're led by captain Jordan Staal, who recently reached the 20-goal mark. Carolina brings a balanced attack under Rod Brind'Amour with a relentless style of play. And between the pipes, Brandon Bussi continues to provide stability, coming off another strong performance in his latest win. And reported by Walt Ruff earlier today, who covers this Hurricanes team, he said it looks like a few big dogs may be out tonight. And those who were not on the ice to start today included Aho, Gostisbehere, Jarvis, Slavin, and Svechnikov. All those guys will not be in the lineup tonight. And even with the lineup adjustments and key players getting rest over the last couple of games, it has not bothered this Hurricanes team, as they have not missed a beat. A testament to their depth, structure, and consistency here under head coach Rod Brind'Amour. So tonight it's a clash of motivations. One team sharpening its game for the playoffs with just a point needed to clinch their Eastern Conference home ice advantage. The other in Philadelphia just trying to make sure they're in the big dance come Saturday. Hurricanes and Flyers coming up next. Tonight's starting goalies, and of course the drop of the puck is just moments away. You're listening to another NHL Watch Along with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Here come the Fly Guys as they take on the Hurricanes next. Welcome back inside Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia, where we get set for face-off in a playoff-like atmosphere for the Flyers and Hurricanes. In goal for this Carolina Hurricanes team, it's Brandon Bussi. On the year, he's 36-1, 30 wins, 6 losses, 1 overtime defeat, a 2.52 goals against average, and an .892 save percentage. He's opposed by Dan Vladar, 28, 14-7 on the year for him. A 2.44 goals against average and a .905 save percentage. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me on a Monday night as we're set to drop the puck in Philadelphia. Flyers going right to left, Hurricanes left to right as Jankowski wins the draw clean against Tyson Foerster, who stepped in, and we're underway. From the city of brotherly love, 2 points for the Flyers, clinches a playoff spot tonight. Let's see if they're able to beat the team in Carolina, who's taken it to them 16 times out of the last 17 meetings. Down to our right, Cam York played it up the center for the Flyers. Forster's touch pass found Tippett on the left wing, tried to squeeze past Sean Walker into the zone, got the puck deep, came around the goal, and on the far side, it's up but not out. Kept in along the wall by Forster. Played behind the Carolina goal. Zegras couldn't grab it. It deflected off his blade, up but not out as Jankowski can't clear. Far point, here's Drysdale to the far corner, button hooking with it as Zegras played it up between the dots. One-timer by Konechny, blocked out by the Hurricanes' Martinook, and out the center it'll roll. And the Flyers reset as the Hurricanes are changing. On the near wall, Zegras got his pocket picked by Sean Walker. In down the near side, he also lost the biscuit, but the Hurricanes are on it as to the far wall. Blake's to the rescue. Jackson Blake on the near side, shielding on his backhand, spun it to the far left wing circle. Chatfield will bunt it down low. Behind the Flyer goal, it's picked up. A stuff attempt in tight by Carrier, shut down by Vladar. It's on the near wall. Konechny tried to clear Can. It's turned over to Blake again. Left it right wing for Stankoven, who's been red hot. Stankoven rings it around the goal. Far wall now. Chatfield can't grab it. Sanheim played it up, but not out. Grabbed by Zegras, who's been out there for a minute and a half now to start this game. Got the puck out the center. Porter Martone fresh on the ice, trying to play it ahead. Got as far as the Hurricane blue line. And Keandre Miller steers it right back on the near side for Chatfield to wire it into Philadelphia ice. Far left wing side to our right. Stankoven trying to pry it away. He's able to get it back down low as Ristolainen is trying to get back for the Flyers. Protected and got it on the far wing for Michkov. On the right side, over the red line, played it into the Hurricane zone. Cates in after it against Sean Walker. Got to it, bunted it in front. A shot, shut down Bussi, point blank. Rebound to the far corner after that try by Barkey. Around the goal it goes, back to our left in the trapezoid. In Carolina ice, the Flyers go to work. Michkov on the far wall, working it from low to high, protecting, threw it towards the goal. It deflected, came to Sean Walker. Didn't make it to the goaltender Bussi, as now it's thrown back out the center. And the Flyers reset once again. 2 minutes, 20 seconds played in this first period. Good shift for both teams so far in the opening few minutes of this one, as the Flyers trying to re-enter on the near side. A touch pass found Glendening, but it bobbled to the near corner. Now he fights for it with a Hurricane down to our left. Puck now nudged to Garnett Hathaway. Can't fully grab it. Now played away from him by the Canes. And up the center, it'll roll past the penalty boxes all the way down to our right. It won't go far enough for an icing. It will, says the linesman last second, as that made it just at the very last half second for the whistle to go. So it's 17-17 to go in this first period. Another whistle. And with that, let's take a look at these Flyers lines before their offensive zone draw. Top line of Zegras, Forster, and Tippett. Second line of Dvorak with Martone and Konechny. Third line of Cates, Michkov, and Barkey. Fourth line, Couturier, Glendening, and Hathaway. Deep pairing Sanheim with Ristolainen, York with Drysdale, Sealer with Andre. Is off the draw to the right of Bussi. Sealer put one right towards the net, but it went off the end boards, as now the Hurricanes out of their own zone escape the center. On the far wing, Kakanyemi played it for Ehlers. Ehlers left wing spun it towards the net, went off a skate in behind the Philadelphia goal line. Now out the center, a puck will come. Konechny got by Robinson on the far wall into the Kane zone. Shot one behind the Carolina net around to the near wall. It's met by Dvorak. Rung it back around to the far wall at the right wing circle. Punching it down low as Drysdale, but a good job by Keandre Miller to send it back up high. Couldn't get it out. Came back to Chatfield now as the Hurricanes on the right side of their own defensive zone skate it to the red line themselves. And Chatfield will put it deep in the far corner of the Flyers zone. At the far left wing circle, Martone will flip it back the other way. Flyers will change. Keandre Miller will reset and steer it on the near side for the Hurricanes. Back beneath the Flyers goal line, it'll go again around to the far point. Nikishin tried to put it on net, got blocked through the slot. Now on the near side, Forster's backhander reaches the red line near the penalty boxes, and Zegras, a nice touch pass, found Tippett skating far wing into the zone. Keandre Miller, a nice poke check to the far wall, knocked it off Tippett's blade, and now trying to steer it out for the Hurricanes was Carrier. Had trouble with it as Drysdale put it back on the near side. Sanheim down low activates. Put it on top of the paint. Zegras a shot. Shut down Bussy. Got it with the right-handed catching glove of his, as now the Hurricanes flip it back to center again. As now the Flyers quickly reset on the near wing. Tippett, one-armed one for Forster in the near corner. Forster couldn't grab it. The ex-Flyer Sean Walker will, as on the far wing it's played to center. Here come the Hurricanes up the far wall. Onto the corner now it's Nikishin playing one behind the Flyers net. Got his own rebound. Shot it to the far wall. Came back between the dots for Walker, and his wrister missed to the blocker side of Vladar. Lays in the trapezoid down to our right. Sanheim played it up ahead. Cates will knock it out to center for Philadelphia, and Nikishin will reset for Carolina. With 4.5 played in this scoreless first period, Stankoven a turnover at the red line. It'll be put back into Carolina ice by Denver Barkey. It'll be shot back up by Bussy, though, from the trapezoid to Jackson Blake. Tried to put it on the logo for Taylor Hall, but it's taken back in possession of the Flyers. Pass straight ahead for Barkey right in, and a shot blocked off, and Nikishin stick to the near corner of the Hurricane zone. Played around the goal, centering it, found Couturier all alone, and a save made with the right-handed catching glove again by Bussy. Rebound to the near corner, rattled around to the far point for Drysdale. Played back to Couturier in that near left wing corner. Backhanded up to the point. York a shot, looking for Michkov's deflection in front, couldn't get it. On the far wall, Carrier put it back as far as the red line. Flyers now will wire it back in while changing. Couturier snapped it in. He'll head to the bench. On the ice now is Glendening for the Flyers, but he was unable to find it on the far wing, and the Hurricanes through center will shoot it back into Philadelphia ice. But Couturier still out there, actually will play it right back to center. Went off a Hurricane body back into Philadelphia ice. So now at 14-14 to go in the first. Here is Emile Andre up ahead for Couturier. Tapped it into Carolina ice, is now in the far corner. Glendening trying to center it, came back out near the blue line. The Hurricanes are on it. Ehlers a spinorama backhand pass, found Bradley Nadeau over the Flyers line to the near side. Here's Kakanyemi, played it back up. Here's a long shot that got blocked to the far corner off the stick of Mike Riley. Now from the far wing, Ehlers played it back this way. Riley will stash it down low out of the reach of Kakanyemi, and the Flyers on the near side flip it back to center. So they change with 13:43 to go in the first period. Hurricanes do the same as Mike Riley sits behind his own net. No shots on goal for the Hurricanes, as the original one that was credited was taken away on the short side against Vladar. So the Hurricanes are still looking for the first shot. They come back in on the near wing looking for one, and Skylar Brindamore had a backhander that went off the stick of a Hurricane out of play. And that will send us to our first break here in this one. Not a lot of whistles, but a whole lot of pace to begin this game between the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Back in a moment right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Back in Philadelphia, before we drop the puck to continue play, let's take a look at these Carolina Hurricanes lines with a lot of guys out of the lineup in this one. Again, no Aho, no Svechnikov, 4 starters, no Jarvis as well, as the big guns are out for the Hurricanes. It'll be a top line of Stankoven with Blake and Hall for this one. Kakanyemi between Ehlers and Bradley Nadeau. Now, Mark Jankowski centering Carrier and Delorier. Delorier, a former Flyer. In the fourth line, Skylar Brindamore, Rod Brindamore's son, centering Eric Robinson and Jordan Martinook. Deep pairings, Keandre Miller with Jalen Chatfield, Alexander Nikishin with Sean Walker, Mike Riley with Legault. As Charles Alexis Legault, 10 games this season, getting some more time here with the NHL club, as is Bradley Nadeau, who also has 10 games, a lot of their season spent with the Chicago Wolves in the AHL. So we're set to resume play here in Philadelphia. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. You can see my name up here on top of the score bug as well. As off a faceoff here to the left of the goaltender Vladar, down to our right in the Flyers D zone. It's won by the Hurricanes and dug out down low by Jaric Robinson. From the trapezoid, played it up to the right point. Miller will give it back. Robinson right wing circle. Shot went off a leg, came to Konechny. Konechny turned it over, but it came right back to him off a Martinook's stick, and he'll shoot it as far as the red line. Hurricanes will try and get it, but it came to Martone, who snaps it into Hurricane ice. To our left now, in the far corner, a bouncing puck will be played up the wall. Trying to get it out the center was Nikishin. It got played as far as the Philly blue line. Martone will circle back on it with 12:50 now to go in the first period. Still no shots on goal for the Hurricanes, 4 for the Flyers. As Zegras kitty corners one into the Hurricane zone. Near side, it's hunted down, played through the trapezoid, and off the back of the net as it came back to Zegras. Now to the far point, Ristolainen. Played it back to the corner, Zegras. Right back up top, far point, Ristolainen. Slid it this way, Sanheim off the wall, played it down low. Came to tip it, off the skate, the puck went to Blake, and now to Stankoven, it's collected. On the near wall, Blake will try and shoot it back in. Got tied up with Sanheim. Puck came back to the Hurricane blue line, and it'll be played up by Keandre Miller now. Missed his man Taylor Hall with the pass. This should go for an icing. It will. And with 12:15 to go in the first period, there is an icing and an ozone draw coming back the other way for the Philadelphia Flyers. So coming up tomorrow on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, if necessary, the Capitals and Blue Jackets, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, as that one could be important if the Flyers don't get 2 points in this one. If they get a point tonight and none tomorrow, and the Capitals win, they're in. If they get no points in either of the games, the winner of tomorrow's Capitals Blue Jackets game will be in the playoffs. So a lot up for grabs still in this Eastern Conference. Nothing set in stone yet in the Metropolitan. All we know is the winner will take on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. The Hurricanes still don't know who they'll take on. The Sabres, or I should say the Bruins or the Senators, as the Sabres will likely play the opposite in that wild card, as they're likely to win their division as long as they get a win in these next two games against Dallas or Chicago. As back to the ice here in Philadelphia, bad pass by the Flyers ends up in Carolina ice, but it's not going to go for an icing, so it'll be left in the trapezoid for Nikishin from the goaltender Bussy. On the near side now, here's Sean Walker wiring one in from the red line. Around it goes to the far corner of the Flyers zone, picked up Ehlers, Senator shot, they score! Bradley Nadeau, look at that! Third goal of the season in 11 games, and the Chicago Wolves rejoins the lineup and makes it 1-0 Hurricanes. So Bradley Nadeau right between the circles had all the room in the world as Travis Sanheim was stuck behind him. Ristolainen was in the corner focused on Ehlers, and Ehlers saw Nadeau on top of the blue paint, fed it right to him from behind the goal line, and he was able to go upstairs over the glove of Dan Vladar. And the Hurricanes lead it 1-0 on Bradley Nadeau's third goal of the season in just 11 games. So off the ensuing draw, the Fly Guys put it back into Carolina ice. When giving up the first goal this season, Philadelphia's 19-22-8. The Hurricanes 35-10-2 when scoring the game's opening goal. The Flyers' fourth line will get a puck now into Carolina ice in the left wing corner. Hathaway got smashed into the boards by Kotkaniemi, as now he's pinned up against that glass. Puck trying to get played up ahead along the wall, squirted free and thrown to the point by Dvorak. Now it's looking for a tip. Andre couldn't find one. Now in front, Konechny played it. It bounced in between the circles, rolls up to the blue line, gets out to center. And now the Flyers reset quickly on the near wall. Konechny fed Dvorak. It's out of his reach. Bussy aggressively out to play it, took it away from him, but it came to Konechny on the near wall, who's tied up now with a Hurricane. Down low, it'll go to the corner. Up the wall, Martinook will look to exit. He pitchforks one on the logo, and Jaric Robinson will carry left wing into the Flyers zone. He carries into the corner, threw it in front again. Off a skate, it went to the near corner. Martone tries to clear. It's kept by Chatfield. Played it right back to Martone, and he gave a stretch pass that went off a skate, but right back to Dvorak, who crosses the red line, now the blue. Got it back back right wing circle, fed it in front. Martone couldn't get it to the goal. To the far corner, it goes down to our left. Keandre Miller is able to lift the stick at Konechny and lift it in front of the penalty boxes. Puck plattered down now near the Philly blue line and corralled by York, who played it behind his own net. Drysdale on the far corner slid it right back to Cam York at the left wing side, and he'll skate it up to center at the penalty boxes. Zegras got ran into by Sean Walker, and it's up on the right wing for Taylor Hall. Fed it in the slot, trying to shoot its Blake, came back to Hall. Now a good diving play by York to poke it to the near corner. As behind the goal, it's taken by Stankoven. Came this way to the right wing circle. Walker wasn't ready for it as he thought it was intended for Hall, which it was, and it came out to center. And now Walker will try and play it back ahead, but it's jumped and grabbed by the glove of Cam York, who played it to his stick, and it shot down the left wing side into the Hurricane zone. Behind the goal, it's deflected to the far corner. Trying to get there with Zegras. Couldn't, but Tippett will play it back down low. Zegras got outworked again by Sean Walker. As on the near side, it'll be Blake playing it off a skate at Tippett as it deflects into Philadelphia ice, and the Hurricanes will change up 1-0 with under 9 minutes to go in this first period. Tippett through all three lines at center, making it himself to the right wing. A shot and a blocker save by Bussy. Again, he has the left-handed blocker, not common in the NHL, as on the far post was able to shut that down short side. Back at the other end, Kakanyemi left wing, rung it around the Flyer net. To the near side, trying to pinch his Chatfield, came up to Ehlers, looking for a tip by Kakanyemi, went through the slot to the far corner. Poked up by Tippett, a pass to red line. Here's a pass by Cates, far circle, in comes Barkey, and a poke check by Bussy, who is so aggressive in this game. I have not seen too much of this guy broadcasting-wise for the Hurricanes, but Bussy 3 times has aggressively played a puck away from a Flyer, and it's worked out all 3 times. At the left wing circle, though, the Flyers still rotate. Up to the point, Andrea's shot knocked down between the circles in front of the blue paint, came to Barkey in the slot, gets free to the far circle. Up high now between the dots near the blue line. Skates to the left wing, put it back door. Cates couldn't get the shot free. Stick got tied up as the puck came to Ehlers on the right-hand side. Skates out near the penalty boxes, and now pulls back as everybody finds a way to change. Slap pass up ahead, found Jankowski at the Flyer blue line as the Hurricanes get fresh bodies on, as Jankowski played that puck to the far corner down to our right. Emil Andre played it up, won't get out as Carrier will play it back behind the goal. Around to the near side, trying to pinch was Legault, couldn't keep it, but there to help him out on the back end was Carrier. Played it down to the near corner, but only there for it were the Flyers, as Sealer will go rink wide. It bounces in front of the Hurricane bench. It's gathered by Glendening. Played it around the Hurricane net to the near side. The captain Couturier will grab it. Trying to shield off Legault, got knocked down with a check. Meanwhile, the puck's free to the near corner to our left. Grabbed by the Hurricanes, as Legault will go rink wide. It's grabbed by Jankowski, as now it's shot on into Philadelphia ice. The Hurricanes looking to get a change again, as are the Flyers, as with 7 minutes to go in the first, Couturier in his own zone skates up near the double Flyer logo at center, backhanded one in to the far corner of the Hurricane zone, is now in that far corner, taking a good route to cut off Brindamore was Martone. Got knocked out of the play, though, with a nice check by Stankoven, as now up to center come the Hurricanes. On the right-hand side, Nikishin bats it into the near side of the Philadelphia zone. Around the goal it'll go. Farwell Walker pinching will keep it. Played it down low, Skylar Brindamore. Brindamore, Rod's kid on the near side. Up to the right point, Nikishin. Made a nice move past Glendening. Trying to get to the near corner, but got cut off by his own man, Brindamore, who was sandwiched against the glass by Sanheim. Meanwhile, puck free to the far wall, and nobody at the point, as Martinuk thought he had somebody there, but it rolls back, and the Hurricanes must reset in their own end to our left with 6:10 to go in the first period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Bradley Nadeau, the goal for Carolina, set up by Nikolai Ehlers, as now Nick Ehlers 1 point shy of 70 on the season, can join Corey Stillman as the second player to record 70 points in their first season as a member of the Hurricanes, and that would have a list that's topped by Mike Rogers, who did it with Hartford as well, with 105 points back in 1980. So under 6 minutes now to go in this first period, as the puck's pinballing around in neutral ice between the benches, comes to Taylor Hall, and now on the right side he chips it off the glass. No, he didn't. Put it over the glass into the Flyer bench, or into the Flyer seats, I should say, with the fans in attendance, as we will step aside here. And before we step aside, one little note. That's a broadcaster's worst nightmare. These Hurricanes road jerseys haven't done a Hurricanes road game. The black numbers on the dark red on the sleeve. PU, broadcaster's worst nightmare. Absolute just rough time, but I think I'm doing all right. And I'll be back here in a moment on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, live from Philadelphia, where the Hurricanes have a 1-0 lead on the road, courtesy Bradley Nadeau's third of the year, set up by Nikolai Ehlers, and Sean Walker given the secondary assist to that as well. So Sean Walker has a point streak now up to 6 games, got 2 goals and 5 assists in that span, and Nikolai Ehlers with 4 assists now at his last 3 games, as he has assists in 3 straight. So face off in neutral ice in front of the penalty boxes. Pair of 22s for the draw as Stankoven beats Dvorak. And the Hurricanes possess as they play it into Philly ice. Right out of play it'll go, though, as it was shot off the glass and into the seats once again. So at 5:27 to go in the first, another neutral zone face-off is upcoming. And again tomorrow, if the if Carolina wins this game in a regulation, then tomorrow the Philadelphia Flyers will need 2 points of any kind to get into the playoffs again. If they lose in any fashion, Washington will get in with a win of any kind. If they lose both in regulation and Columbus wins tomorrow, Columbus is in. So a lot up for grabs. The Flyers can clinch a playoff spot tonight in this game if they're able to pull it out, but they're about to go shorthanded as a hook's coming up on Dvorak. But right now the Hurricanes are getting the extra attacker on as to the bench goes Bussy, as they have possession in their own end with 5 minutes to go in the first. On the far wall, left wing side, little Stankoven got right upended by Cates, lost possession, and with 4:55 to go to the power play go the Carolina Hurricanes, and we'll step aside one last time here in the opening period. 1-0 Philadelphia, or 1-0 Carolina, as wow, a nice minute run here from me, but Carolina up 1-0 here in the first period as Dvorak will take a seat for the Flyers. And when we return, the Hurricanes to the first special teams moment of tonight's game. Or we're not going to a commercial, as we still had one more to go in this first period, but it looks like we're going to stay here as they ruled it was too close to the last one. So to the power play go the Carolina Hurricanes for 2 minutes on the clock as Dvorak sits, and off the draw the Canes get possession. Their power plays 5th in the league. The Philadelphia Flyers 21st on the PK is on the far wall. Here's Blake playing it down low, got it right back from Hall. Now Blake at the far left wing circle, trade spots with Taylor Hall. Hall played it to the far corner for Stankoven. Now along the left wing boards, it's Blake again. Blake looking down low, Stankoven in the slot. Came now to Ehlers, a short side shot, he scores! Power play goal, Nick Ehlers, and the Hurricanes are up 2-0, and Ehlers has 70 points in his first season as a Hurricane. So 25 goals on the year now for Nikolai Ehlers, as his shot from in deep on the right wing circle went off the glove of Vladar on the short side and into the back of the net, as he couldn't get to the short side post close enough, Dan Vladar, and Ehlers is able to beat him. And Hurricanes with a 2-0 lead in this first period on just 3 shots on goal. So Dan Vladar here, 2 goals against on 3 shots. His numbers against the Hurricanes in his career, he's 0-4-1 with a 4.17 goals against average and 886 save percentage. He's given up 23 goals now on 187 shots against the Hurricanes. So 2-0 Carolina, as Nick Ehlers now joins Corey Stillman as the second player to record 70 points in their first season with the Carolina Hurricanes. As now the Flyers desperate for a goal, they're going to get out the center, and here's Forster centering one. York in tight, put it over top of the crossbar. Bussy might have gotten a piece, as now Brindamore backhanded one down the ice. This might go far enough for icing. It won't, as the linesman waves it off. Mark Shushik waving it off, as now it's thrown back up the near side for Forster past the penalty boxes, and now he has to work it against Chatfield. Got it, centered it. Zegras had to play it back to the point. Sealer wasn't ready for it. Now played it down behind the Carolina net, and it'll come right back up the wall and be pitchforked to center by the Canes. And a foot race now between Andre and Nadeau for this puck in the far corner of the Flyers zone. Rolls around to the near side. Came up the boards by Sealer, got it out past the blue line, and in front of the penalty boxes trying to stash it back deep was Keandre Miller. Got it deep into the Flyers zone. To the near corner, Nadeau going after it with Andre, trying to outwork him in the corner, lost possession, came up now to Barkey, who sends it down the ice. This might go for an icing. It will, as it goes the distance with 3:14 to go in this opening period. So 2-0 Carolina on the goals by Nadeau and Ehlers, as Ehlers with 2 points in this first period, as Carolina up 2-0 here on the road, trying to clinch that top spot in the Eastern Conference. Again, a lot of talk about the final playoff spot up for grabs, but can't forget just 1 point tonight by the Hurricanes will give them home ice through the entire Eastern Conference playoffs, and that's something that they definitely want, is in the first 2 rounds. They're 29-7 on home ice. We all know how the conference finals went. That's just, we're going to have to write a different script for the Carolina Conference Finals, but 29-7 in the first 2 rounds on home ice is spectacular under Rod Brindamore. And off the draw to the right here of Vladar, it's one, and Riley put a shot off the pads of a flyer that ricocheted to the right point for Legault to put down low in that near corner. Played by Carrier, backhanded one to the slot. A backhander didn't leak through Vladar. It's underneath him, as there was room on the 5-hole, but did not leak through. As now we're going to take the final timeout. 3 minutes left in the first period. The NHL is getting stingy. I remember just a few short years ago when they would go to commercials 30 seconds apart if the time suggested it, but I guess they're being kinder to the local viewer. So 3 minutes remain in the first period. Now we'll step aside for the final time. Back in a moment here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back in Philly, where the Flyers are down 2-0 early to the Hurricanes. As the Flyers need 2 points to clinch a playoff spot, the Hurricanes need just 1 to clinch home ice in the East. And they're up 2-0 early here on goals by Bradley Nadeau and the recent one, Nikolai Ehlers, on the power play. He's got 70 points on the year after scoring his 25th goal of the season. And on the assists, Jackson Blake now has points in 6 straight games, and Logan Stankoven points in 7 straight, as these Hurricanes depth pieces are on fire right now. They don't need the big guns to score. They're proving it here in Philly. They proved it in Chicago last week, and they're looking poised and ready to get over that conference final hump and make the Stanley Cup final and hopefully win it for the first time since 2006. Out to center, the Flyers now have to try and play it ahead, but it's taken back by the Hurricanes, put right back into Philadelphia ice, as the Flyers here now seem to be a bit rattled. They were out shooting the Hurricanes 5-0. Now it's 5-2 Hurricanes since then, and the Hurricanes with 2 goals, and the Flyers here, the sticks are starting to get a little tighter as they're gripping them a little too much, and it starts to give me the vibes that they're going to know that they have to win. And when you start playing, this is a must-win game, it starts to get in your head, especially when you haven't been there enough. But we're only through 18 minutes here tonight. There's still 2 minutes to go in the first. Plenty of time for this Flyers team to gather themselves and get back into this game. But on the right wing side, Jackson Blake made a few Flyers miss, dropped it off Stankoven, right wing circle, a snap shot blocker down by Vladar, came back up the slot, carried out by Konechny, backhanded it far wall in the Hurricane zone. Martono sling it behind to the near corner. Pitchforked up ahead by the Hurricanes' Taylor Hall. Came back out in front of the penalty boxes. Sanheim gave it to Konechny, who wired it right back in. Final 105 of the period. Down to the far corner down to our left is Dvorak. Left it for Martone. Got tied up with Stankoven, took it away from him, kicked it to his stick, and played it to the logo for Hall to backhand one deep. Hurricanes get a change. Flyers do as well, as Ristolainen down to our right behind in the trapezoid collects the puck and skates up straight away. Played it straight away off a Flyer to tip it into the near side of the Hurricane zone. Hathaway took a body in behind. Puck meanwhile up the far boards out to center, and now trying to get back as Nick Seeler turned it over to Martinook, who's in far left wing. Tipped it now to Brindamore, who's out of his reach now in the slot. Robinson, a lumberjack whack that got blocked out of play by Seeler. And with a minute 9 to go here in the first period, a stoppage in play for a puck out of play, and a face-off here remaining in the Flyers' defensive zone. Assuming the Flyers don't get 2 goals here in 69 seconds, they are 8-17-5 when trailing after the first period. The Hurricanes 27-9-2 when leading through 20 minutes this year. As a face-off here looks to stay to the left of goaltender Dan Vladar, as it'll be Dvorak against Brindamore for this draw. Now off the tie-up, it's played to the right wing side. Martinook trying to get it, got tied up with Drysdale. Drysdale upended, taken down, no calls. The puck's back to center, and the Hurricanes rekindle at their own blue line. Riley shot it off the near glass back into Philly ice. Cates turns with it, played it back on the left wing side. Barkey trying to put it down, gave it right back to Martinook, and he'll put it right back to Philadelphia ice. Puck pinballing around here on the right side, going to be blown dead for offsides now, with 48 seconds to go in this opening period. Again, not just hockey going on this week. We got the NBA play-in coming to the Ultimate Sports Media channel here. A couple of watch-alongs for you on Wednesday, as it'll be the Magic and 76ers with Pierre Moss right here on the channel. Nice to see Pierre making some appearances in the NBA playoffs. It's always nice to hear from him. And also, Seth Eves will round out the night with the Warriors-Clippers. That play-in game getting underway at 10 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So earlier starts in the NBA for those playoff games, but rightfully so everybody could watch, and they'll be right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. So the Flyers won a D-zone draw, or I should say the neutral zone draw near their defensive zone, and it came into the Hurricane side of things, where behind the goal it'll be Miller playing it on the right side for Chatfield. Played one out past the red line. It's gloved down by Drysdale, but picked up by Ehlers. Is on the right wing side. Sent it across. A shot up by Kakanyemi. Got blocked by the Flyers' Ristolainen, as it ricochets now in behind the Flyer goal line. And Ristolainen delivered a jolt to Sean Walker as the puck plops up on the far wing. Sanheim will backhand it the other way. And trying to find it was Ehlers. It came to him now. And he sees how much time's left on the clock. That time is 5 seconds. And that will kill off the remainder of the period as the Hurricanes lead it 2-0 here through 20 minutes on the road in Philadelphia, trying to clinch home ice in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Flyers trying to come back now in this one, as they need 2 points tonight to punch their ticket to the playoffs, and they'll need to do it in fun comeback fashion if the job gets done tonight. The Hurricanes have other ideas though, as they have goals by Bradley Nadeau and Nick Ehlers that have them up 2-0 through 20 minutes. It was Bradley Nadeau's third of the season, as that was set up nicely by Nikolai Ehlers and Sean Walker. Then Ehlers got his 25th of the year from Stankoven and Jackson Blake on the power play. Shots on goal in that first period were 7 for the Flyers, 6 for the Hurricanes. Hits in that period as well, 12 for Carolina and 8 for the Flyers. Those are the numbers through 20 minutes of play tonight. Make sure to stick around for the second period of play. It's just 15 minutes from now. Come back at the top of the hour. Go get some food, go get a drink, do what you got to do for the next 15 minutes. Go let the dog out and come back here at the top of the hour for period 2 between the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Again, 2-0 Carolina through 20 minutes. You're watching this NHL Watch Along live on YouTube with Jaric Rubel. Back soon for the second. Jaric Rubel back with you here for the start of the second period of the Hurricanes and Flyers live right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 2-0 Carolina the score through 20 minutes thus far. Bradley Nadeau's third of the year in just 11 games from Ehlers and Walker opened the scoring, 8:41 in. Then on the power play, Nick Ehlers got his 25th of the year, 70th point of the season from Stankoven and Blake. So a point in this game for the Hurricanes gets them the top spot in the Eastern Conference. 2 points for the Flyers in this game gets them a playoff spot. We'll see how the Fly Guys respond in the middle period, attacking left to right, Carolina right to left, as winning the draw was Dvorak against Stankoven, and we're underway in period 2. Flyers play it down to our right in the Carolina side of the ice. Is on the right wing side. Dvorak got it to Konechny. His stick got tied up, and it's up the wall for Hall. Hall got it as far as the red line in front of the penalty boxes, and it'll be carried by Blake now. Blake in with a shot. Goes over the crossbar to the left here of the Flyers zone. Up to the point it goes Walker. Walker played it straight away. Stankoven to the far right wing circle. It's Hall. Hall protecting here. Turns now to the far corner. That's Nikishin, actually 21, not 71. The black numbers on these dark red arms are just miserable for the Hurricanes jerseys. As in the far corner, Taylor Hall trying to cut to the trapezoid. Dropped it off for Blake. Blake in the far corner. Bob and weave past Bartone. In through the trapezoid. Centered it for Walker, but it came up and out of the zone all the way into Carolina territory. And with 55 seconds gone by in the second period, both teams will get a change. Snap pass on the far wall for Ehlers. Ehlers fresh on. Played it behind the goal. One-armed it to the near corner, but only Dvorak's there for the Flyers, or Cates, I should say, who backhanded it up the wall past the penalty boxes. Into the Carolina zone, it will roll. And around the goal to the far corner, it's Walker. Walker played it up to Kotkaniemi off his stick at the red line, now snapped it off the skate of Drysdale, and came back towards Ehlers, can't corral it, and the Flyers play it off the wall to center, and Legault now will have to get back for the Hurricanes in his own zone. Slid it this way for Mike Riley, who goes back to Legault as the Hurricanes get fresh bodies on, up 2-0, 90 seconds gone by, second period of play. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. If the Hurricanes win this game, you can guarantee Columbus and Washington will be on these airwaves tomorrow, as they'll try and tie the Flyers in the standings and punch their ticket to the playoffs. Would do the Canadiens-Flyers game, but I think with the possibility of it being Ovechkin's last NHL game, it only feels right if it has meaning to bring you the Capitals broadcast. As down to our left in the Flyers zone, trying to poke it out the center where the Hurricanes, were the Flyers, they were successful, but the Hurricanes steered it right back in thanks to Robinson. To the far corner to our left. Poked behind the goal by Travis Sanheim of the Flyers. Now on the right side, Ristolainen getting roughhoused around as the puck now finds its way at the logo to center. Chatfield takes it though for the Hurricanes. Sent it right back in near left wing side. Hunted down by Martinook. Bunted it to the far side, but Sanheim's there to collect. Up the wall, left wing for Forrester. Played it to Zegras. Kicks to the stick through center. On the right wing over the Hurricane line, it's Tippett. Tippett right wing. Driving to the goal. Taken down hard into the post. Bussy's hurt. Forrester and Tippett both might be hurt, as Bussy's okay. He's trying to shake it off. But Tippett went split legs first into the post. This did not look good. As he's getting to his feet, he's trying to shake it off. It's good to see him skating this one off under his own power. As Tippett at the right wing got hit by Miller on the back check, and he's lucky he didn't fully go split-legged into that goalpost, as it was actually his knuckles that braced for impact and got the brunt of the contact. And Bussy as well, as we'll get one more look at this from the Carolina goaltender perspective. It's his left leg. He immediately grasped at his left knee. And now Keandre Miller's talking to Seeler. To Keandre's credit, he checked on Tippett right away. He immediately went like, oh crap, didn't mean for that to happen. Are you good? And now he's going to the bench. He explained to Seeler everything that I kind of just told you. He said it probably in his own, definitely said it in his own words. But Keandre Miller feels bad about that play. Tippett appears to be okay. And my guess is Bussy is as well. He is. Face off to his left. We get back underway after that chaotic play in the Carolina blue paint. The Flyers win the draw and play it around the goal, but Jankowski will sandwich one out the center. Left wing, it's carried over the Flyer line. Carrier made a man fall. That's Andre on the left wing. Put it up to the point. Riley will send it around the goal. Jankowski had 2 goals in Chicago a week ago. Played it up to the point. Riley a one-timer that deflects off the glass high up there, but it ricocheted and stayed in play. To the far corner on the right side. It's thrown out the center by the Flyers. As now at the Hurricane blue line, Mike Riley twisted one right up the left side. Deflected to the near corner of the Flyers zone now. Andre knocked out of the play by Carrier, and he does a good job to get to that free puck in the far corner. Tried to turn on Sealer. Sealer lost his stick. Carrier is having the Flyers in disarray here, but his pass went off of a leg and deflected back behind the Flyer net. Couturier will cleanly play it up the far wall, and Glendening got it as far as the Hurricane bench. Jackson Blake did a good job to get it deep again. As the Hurricanes and Flyers, neither team in this second period with a shot on goal yet, as the Flyers now are able to get across the red line for only what feels like the second time in this period, but Jackson Blake will turn it right back the other way. Walker, left wing for Hall, shot one far side, got over the crossbar and got the glass. On the far point, Nikishin centered it. Stankoven backhander into the glove of Vladar, and he will cover with 15:58 to go here in this second period. First shot on goal for either team here in this middle frame. So another look here at this collision by Tippett and Keandre Miller as they were going to the goal, and just the left leg of Bussy. It was the reaction from him right away that seemed tough, and Tippett throughout the course of this game has been getting bullied as we're now seeing a collage of replays, and Miller's been a part of that. As they've, I guess the moral of the story here is Tippett's just getting focused on by this Hurricanes team. He's pretty much the only Flyer that's looked to drive offense in this game, and they've done a good job to shut him down. As now off a face-off, a puck goes out of play again right off the draw at 15:54 to go here in the second period. So face-off will stay inside the Hurricane zone to the right of, or to the Flyer zone to the right of Dan Vladar, as it'll end up being the fourth line now hopping over the boards for Carolina. Brindamore for this draw against the Cates line for the Flyers. Cates able to win it clean, and in the near side, Drysdale will put it up the wall, and out the center it'll roll and be dropped by Michkov for Cates. It was behind him, had to backhand it this way for Barkey to put in the Carolina zone, and now Legault will try and play it, turned it over to Michkov, but it went right on the blade of Mike Riley for the Hurricanes, so crisis averted for Carolina. Is now back to center. Barkey will try and steer Michkov back in, but a great stick by Riley poked that puck up in the air. Still stayed in the zone, however, but Michkov can't get it to the point. It's played away by Robinson. What a period for him. He's going to get a breakaway, and he's in with a shot and a right pad save by Vladar. Is on the back check. His stick interfered with that shot as well, as Eric Robinson's having a really strong game here for the Carolina Hurricanes. He doesn't have a point yet in this game, but he has looked terrific with the puck on his stick. So to the far corner again of the Flyers zone to our left. 5 minutes gone by in the second period. Puck came up to Zegras at the point. It got out to center, but the Hurricane Zealers will wire it right back in. I've been mentioning this Flyers team struggling to get past the red line in this period. The Hurricanes just doing a good job at suffocating Rick Tockett's crew, as this Rod Brindamore-led Hurricanes team so stingy defensively. They lead in shot suppression, and that's what would make a potential first round series against Ottawa so interesting, as Ottawa is second, as I had a backdoor pass here for Kakanyemi, but a great stick lift by Forrester prevented that. But I think Ottawa and Carolina, there's hockey fans that are going to look at that series, if it happens, as Carrier's back in real quick on the left wing for Carolina, try to wrap around, but it was cut off with a nice stick by Ristolainen. Back on the near side, it's fed up to the point. Nikishin, a shot punched away by Vladar to the near corner. Back on it are the Hurricanes again. Here's Will Carrier shielding, backhanded from the slot, cut off in front. Zegras now a touch pass across for Tippett, and he'll backhand it from the red line and go change. But back to my point on the Canes-Senators series, as I don't want to let that go awry. I think hockey fans are going to look at that and be like, ugh, Canes and Senators, like, oh, who wants to watch that? Like, oh, it wouldn't be me. I think that's going to be the most interesting series of the first round if it happens. I will be so fascinated as to who wins that series, because like I've been telling Matt, who might be listening to this game, Matthew Owens of the Ultimate Sports Media channel. If you didn't know, he's a Hurricanes fan, but I told him, I said, I think the Hurricanes beat any team but Ottawa in the first round. And if that ends up being the first round matchup, I'm so fascinated in how it plays out because the Hurricanes not great on the road in the playoffs. They've been better the last couple of years, but I mentioned their record so outstanding at home. I just think Ottawa is actually a team that could go into Carolina and steal a game. And if the Sens are clicking, I don't know if they could go, the Hurricanes, into Ottawa and steal a game up there. So it'll be very fascinating to me how that plays out. I could be wrong. Carolina's been awesome here with their depth in the last 3 games, showing that they belong even without the top guys. So, like I said, they might be poised and ready to win their Eastern Conference here. As just a point today will give them home ice throughout the entire Eastern Conference playoff. And we're down to under 13 minutes now in this second period with the Hurricanes still up 2-0 on the goals by Nadeau and Ehlers. Top line over the Flyers line comes Hall. Drop pass in the slot. Blake a snapshot. Blockered away by Vladar to the near wall. Here's Blake up high. Seen past a Hall one-timer. Got fanned on his connect. He tipped it en route. Hall will backhand it down low from the far boards as he heads to change. Behind the Flyer goal, Emil Andre will take a look as now he gave it to the far wing for Sealer. Sealer up the boards. Past the benches it'll go. Directed in by Dvorak, and behind the goal, Bussy will play it for Carolina. On the far wall, Chatfield now taken over to the boards by Martone, forced a turnover. Cates from the trapezoid, a wraparound got poked away by Bussy, and on the near side, the Flyers stay with it. Barkey, cross-ice pass, Andre backdoor, he scores! Flyers get one back, and it's 2-1 Carolina. So that was Michkov backdoor, not Andre, 39, not 36, as he jumped in from the blue line to the far circle and snapped one far side under the blocker of Brandon Bussy, as that was one heck of a pass set up his way from Barkey on the near side, and on the back door, Michkov goes far side past the blocker of Brandon Bussy and gets goal number 19 on the year. So that injects some life into this Flyer crowd as their first shot of the period goes in. And after a rough first 8 minutes, they get one back and they're right in again with the top line. On an onside play, Zegras left wing in behind the Carolina goal. It got poked off his blade. Nikishin will poke check it up the far wing. Came right back to him though as Martinook couldn't corral it. Nikishin upended his own self, hitting a rut in the ice, fell over. Meanwhile, puck on the near side will be rung back around by Tippett. Far wall, here's Sanheim. Played it right back behind the Carolina net. Nikishin back up the near wall with it. Drysdale will punch it back low again. Tippett keeps it alive. Down in the near corners, Forster. Forster knocked out there by Sean Walker. Is now Zegras trying to get some cross checks to Walker. Now the helmet comes off and a penalty's coming up. And I don't know if they're going to give a cross check to Zegras or if it's going to go on Walker. I think it should go on Walker for taking the helmet clean off of Zegras on purpose. And that is going to be the call. So when we come back, the Flyers just injecting new life into this Xfinity Mobile Arena crowd. Got one back. Now have a power play with an opportunity to tie it. You're listening to this watch along between the Hurricanes and Flyers right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Welcome back to Philadelphia, where the Flyers, now just down a goal, have a man advantage opportunity as Sean Walker goes to the box for ripping the helmet off the head of Trevor Zegras. So the Flyers to the power play for the first time tonight on the year. Their power play ranks dead last in the NHL. It's only at 15.5%. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes PK 10th in the league at 80.6%, 7th in the NHL on the road at 83%. And we'll see who comes out on the better end of this special teams opportunity. The Hurricanes cashed in on their power play in the first period. Now it's the Fly Guys' turn to respond. So again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me on this Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page, as I'll be with you tomorrow and Thursday for more NHL action as we conclude this regular season. And then I'll be with you on Saturday afternoon as well at 2 Eastern, 1 Central for Game 1, whichever game it might be, to begin the Stanley Cup Playoffs. So face-off to the right of Bussy as Martinook against Dvorak is the face-off matchup. As off the draw, it's played back by the Flyers. Dvorak at the point. It's played this way to Tippett. Down to the near corner, Michkov operates. Michkov with the Flyer goal earlier in this period from the right point, played it to the near wall for Dvorak. Across now, Ristolainen left point. Pass deflected from Martinook to the far corner. Came behind the Carolina goal, but on the near side, Michkov's there to grab it. Got it to Ristolainen, whacked it enough to the near side for Dvorak. Played it back up top to Michkov between the circles. His shot, saved Bussy, rebound, shattered the stick somehow of a Hurricane. That was Keandre Miller, who's without a cue, and it stays onside. The Flyers with it. Tippett down low. Dvorak got it back, and a save made by Bussy on the trigger pull by Tippett. Back up top, straight away, it's Ristolainen to the near wall. Michkov works it up top again. Drifting up high between the circles. Played it this way to Dvorak. Down low in front of Tippett. A save made with the glove of Bussy as he got the Tippett redirect. And with 1:08 to go on the Flyer power play, it stays 2-1 Carolina. So a beautiful shift here from the top unit of this Flyer power play. They didn't look like a unit that was ranked dead last on this opportunity. Is on the doorstep. Tippett with the redirect. Could not get it past the glove of Brandon Bussy. As over his last 5 starts, he's 5-0-0, a 2.99 goals against average with an .860 save percentage. Earlier this year against Philadelphia as well, he allowed 2 goals on just 26 shots. As off a draw to his left, Cates won it to the back. Here's Drysdale, played it far wall. It's thrown down by Forster. Around the goal as Martone can't grab it, came to the near side. Zegras pinned up against the boards. Got Cates down low, played it around the goal for Martone. Up to the far point, it's sent by Forster to Drysdale. Now right wing circled Zegras, back up high Drysdale in the bumper, thrown back by Martone this way for Zegras. Up top Drysdale once more, looking for a lane, goes to Martone out of the far corner. Got poke checked by Nikishin, puck up the wall for Robinson. He'll send it down the ice, and the Canes get a clear with 35 to go on this Flyer power play. 9:50 remaining in the second period of play. 2-1 Carolina. Again, Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as here come the Flyers through center. Over the logo and on the near wing, Zegras found Martone. Played it back to the near side of the Carolina zone to our right as Cates plays it to the far corner. Forster with it, backhanded at Martone. Backdoor Zegras has Bussy down and out, and a shot shut down by Bussy and score! They didn't count it at first, but Zegras celebrates, and the power play goal counts for the Flyers. So Zegras with his 10th goal on the power play, 26th overall on the season, is at the right wing dot. He had Bussy down and out, and his shot went off the back bar past Bussy and ricocheted right back out as he beat him through the 5-hole. And Trevor Zegras, an emphatic celebration as the Flyers have tied this game on the power play. So 2-2 the score now with 9:30 to go in the second, as 2 goals on 4 shots by the Flyers this period have tied the game. As now off the draw, we're going to have a do-over at the dot, as we're going to have a face-off in front of the Carolina bench now, but not before we step aside with 9:24 to go in the second period. Zegras with the equalizer on the power play. 2-2 Flyers and Hurricanes. back here in Philly as the Flyers have tied this game at 2. Goals by Michkov and Zegras have it all even here in the second period. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as this is a big game for both of these teams. The Hurricanes need a point to clinch the home ice advantage in the Eastern Conference. Flyers need a win of any kind to clinch the third spot in the playoffs in the Metropolitan Division. So 2 goals in the first by the Hurricanes, 2 goals in the second by the Flyers have us where we are now with just under 10 minutes to go here in the second period. Face off here at the center ice logo, as it'll be Kotkaniemi against Couturier for this draw. And off a tie-up, it's played by Kotkaniemi to himself, and he's in left wing to the Flyer zone. Dropped one off, Hathaway took it, but it can't clear it, as now it's played to the near side by Legault. Right on it, though, is Ristolainen for the Flyers, and he played it up the right wing for it to be played deep by Hathaway. Back on it's Legault for the Hurricanes in his own zone. Put it off the far wall to center. At the red line, it's taken back by Glendening, put back into Carolina ice. Mike Riley now back on it. It'll go around on the near side for Ehlers. Under 9 minutes to go now in the second period. Passing the skates at Kotkaniemi makes him turn back in his own zone. Goes to Walker now, and up the far wall. It's touched in for Ehlers, far wing in the Flyer zone. Right wing corner. Put on the brakes. Now up to the far point. He'll go. Slid it Walker one-timer. Shut down Vladar as he's able to get that with the glove. And with 8:38 to go, a face-off coming up to his right. So that shot there coming from Sean Walker, an ex-Philadelphia Flyer, spent over half of the 2023-24 season with Philly, posted 22 points, 6 goals, and 16 assists in 63 contests. Canes also have Nick Delorier. He was acquired at the trade deadline for a conditional 2027th pick in the 7th round pick in the 2027 NHL draft. That's a tongue twister. And overall had 20 points in 195 games for the Flyers. More of a fighter than he is a goal scorer. The Flyers win their D-zone draw, and out the center they'll go as Konechny found Dvorak straight in, but his shot went off a leg. Got it now to the point. Drysdale slid it across York. A shot off the left pad of Bussy to the near side. Cleared up the boards and out. Now Hall has a foot race against Drysdale for this, and Drysdale with a good helicopter play. Played it away from him with a diving effort, and tip it through center on the far wing with speed. Dropped it. Played in the slot. Drysdale had it go off his back left skate. As now underneath Bussy is Tippett as they collided yet again. Meanwhile, Tippett's trying to get back onside. York wasn't aware of that and just had to play it deep to avoid a whistle. As now behind the Canes net, Nikishin will hurry it up ahead. Here comes Nikishin at the red line. Backhanded one that got poked at the Flyers blue by Michkov. Right back at the red line. Stankoven will have to twist it deep. Goes behind for Vladar to play with 7:43 to go in the second. Left now for Emil Andre in the trapezoid. He'll wait for a breakout for the Philadelphia Flyers as he'll elect to go up the far left wing with it. Grabbed by Michkov as the first Flyer goal. Circles back in his own zone, played it at the logo, turned over to Mike Riley as the Canes defenseman will sand wedge one backhand behind the Philadelphia goal. Emil Andre back on it, took a hit to make that play, got it up to Cates, who flipped it over the red line, tried to be gloved down by Michkov, mishandled it, and on the near side, Mike Riley whacked one on the near wall. Didn't get out, though, as Barkey's able to keep it for the Flyers. Tried to get it to the blue line, but it's taken away by Martinook, and up ahead on the left wing hit Eric Robinson. But Ristolainen took it away from him at the Flyer blue line, went across for Sanheim to snap it back into Carolina ice. It'll be grabbed by Keandre Miller here behind his own net, under 7 minutes to go now in the second period. 2-2 Flyers and Hurricanes. Shots just 12-11 in favor of the Flyers, as now in this period they're out shooting, or I should say the shots are tied 5-5 after the Hurricanes dominated the first half of this period. To the left here in the near corner, Delorier played it around the Flyer goal to the far wall. It's grabbed by Jankowski. His shot shut down Vladar. Rebound in behind. Grabbed to the near circle and backhanded to the point Miller. Keandre Miller, long flip shot, punched and blockered away to the near wall by Vladar. In that near corner, Jankowski's tied up. The puck came to Carrier. He played it around the goals. Delorier poked it to the far point. Chatfield will go right back to the former Flyer. Delorier leaves it in the trap trapezoid for Carrier. Will Carrier in front for Jankowski. Skates through the trapezoid to the far wall. Goaltender without a stick. Got one from a defenseman and a save by Vladar with that helping stick. As now the puck comes out the center on the near wing. Forster will smash it deep. And now the Flyers will get a change as the Hurricanes trying to keep pressure on after surrendering 2 unanswered goals. 5:48 remain in this second period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Here's Keandre Miller for the Canes. Across for Chatfield. Played at the red line by Ehlers, but turned right on the blade of Sealer. Trying to play it deep now for the Flyers as York. He got it around the goal. And on the near side, here's Keandre Miller. Back around to the far wall with it. Came out to the red line. Hathaway trying to send it right back in. Had trouble with it. Poked now to Bradley Nadeau. Nice pass on the far wall. Kakanyemi pivots here on Hathaway. Keeps possession. Kicks to the point. Now Legault is shot. Punched away by Vladar. Again, that blocker's been effective in this second period. As now the captain Couturier on the near wing. Put it off the boards into the Carolina zone. Behind the Carolina net, it's Mike Riley for the Canes. Played it up now straight ahead, and on the far side it'll be played by Kakanyemi into the Flyers zone as he heads to change. Under 5 minutes remain in this second period. On the near side, Konechny put it back into Carolina ice. Around to go to the high slice it'll go, and now Nikishin kicked it back up the near side with his right skate. Ehlers will flip it ahead into the Flyers zone. This will roll for an icing as it's got the distance, and the icing whistles blow with 4:39 now remaining in period number 2. So Philadelphia last time out tied their season high 4 goals in a game with a 7-goal outburst in Winnipeg. Since March 26th, the team ranks 3rd in goals across the entire NHL. The only teams with more are the teams in their division, as now it is Pittsburgh with 44 and Carolina with 40, as ironically enough, all 4 teams that are battling for Metropolitan playoff positioning or have already clinched are the 4 highest scoring teams since the last week of March. In the Hurricane zone, the Flyers tried to twist one on top for Michkov, but it was not able to connect, as now Ehlers sends it across the ice into the Flyers zone, and now it's poked deep by Nikishin. Behind the goal it'll go. Back up the near wall, it's met by Sean Walker, played deep again. Jackson Blake tried to get there for the Hurricanes, got tied up, lost the battle. Now Michkov met by Walker, can't move it ahead. Came back behind the Flyer net for Stankoven. Stankoven got outworked by Drysdale. They both go to the far wall, but Drysdale's able to get that puck up and out. And at the logo, Sean Walker will play it right onto Barkey's blade on a turnover. Far wall, Michkov dropped it back. Barkey played it down low again. Michkov behind the Hurricane net. Poke checked by Keandre Miller. As now Miller up the far walls. The Canes come on the counterattack. Through center. Stankoven twists on the near wall. Backhands it down low. Around the goal it'll go for Hall. Hall can't grab it in the trapezoid as Sanheim has it on his backhand. Put it past the penalty boxes. Forster directs it for Tippett. Right wing over the Hurricane line. To the right wing circle on his backhand. Spins to his forehand and rattles it around the cage. To the far wall, Sanheim. Trying to keep it in. Has to skate out to center. As now he'll play it right back in front of the penalty boxes for Forster to kitty corner it. Far quarter of the Hurricane zone. Now that puck will bounce down with 3:12 left in this second period. Bounced up to the near side. It's Ristolainen backhanding one sky high. That one had a lot of distance as I think it was on edge, and it goes out of play with 3:06 remaining here in this second period. We'll step aside one last time. 2-2 Hurricanes and Flyers on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. back with you in Philadelphia, where there's just about 3 minutes to go in the second period. And the Flyers, in the second period, have tied the game up at 2, as goals by Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras have equalized it. Porter Martone, an assist on the Zegras power play goal. He became the 5th Flyers teenager since 1993 to record a point now in 5 consecutive games. Joins Couturier, Michkov, and Joel Farabee, along with Nolan Patrick, as the only 5 to do just that. So face-off coming up here in a moment following the stoppage in play before the commercial break. As again, a reminder, I'll be live covering the NHL with you again Tuesday and Thursday to conclude the regular season. We'll have NBA play in action on Wednesday with Pierre Moss and Seth Eves. Face-off here coming up to the left of Bussy now, as Jankowski will go up against Dvorak. It's played to the back in the Flyers' control. Andre, straightaway Sealer, long wrister, blocked in the slot, came to Konechny in between the circles, looking for a lane. His shot blocked by Nikishin, played far wall for Delorier, and now the Hurricanes skate out. At the red line, Delorier will backhand one over the Flyer line. It's about as far as it'll get before Martone played it back to Konechny. He shot it off the near glass, not out. Delorier punched it, played in the slot, can't hold the feed was Jankowski, but now got it, played it to the net. Save Ladar with Carrier on the doorstep, but the glove was there to make the stop. So face-off coming up to the Philly goaltender's right, as there's 2:37 left here in this second period, all tied up at 2. And if that score remains, the Flyers 10-1-4 when tied through 40 minutes this year, and the Hurricanes 10-5-2 when tied through 40 minutes this year. A fast-moving game, by the way. It's only been on for about 90 minutes, not even from the time we've dropped the puck, and we're already almost in the second intermission. Not a lot of whistles and a lot of pace to this one, as to the right of Vladar, the Flyers win that draw thanks to Couturier, and out the center it goes on the right wing. Hathaway will put it behind the Hurricane net, played to the far corner. Couturier cuts off Ehlers and plays it behind the Canes net again, to the near side. Here's Nadeau putting it up the wall, not out. Hathaway to the goal, poked away by Bussy. On the far side, left wing, it's played behind the goal again by Couturier. Now upending Glendening was Keandre Miller, as the Flyers can't keep the biscuit in. It rolls back into their own end of the ice, and Drysdale from behind his own net, while being roughhoused, was able to get it back to center, but the Canes throw it right back in while making a change. Under 2 minutes now to go in this second period. Here's Cam York for the Flyers in his own zone. Up the far left wing, carried in now and centered for Cates. Michkov with the feed, played it behind. Now trying to get it out of the far corner with some help is Barkey. Barkey there down low, put it up the far wall, pinching his Sandheim to keep it. Now it's poked off his blade by the Hurricanes. Up to the point it goes, held by Cates. Shot up over the crossbar. Behind the Hurricane net it goes. Walker back up the far point. It gets out as Cates can't keep it in. And now the Hurricanes will have time to reset in their own zone with 85 seconds to go in the second period. Pass straight into the Flyers zone, gets deflected, so no icing. Ristolainen got touched here in the near corner with a poke check by Stankoven, but it looked like he was going to lose possession. It came up the near wall, though, to center. But now we'll get a stoppage for a hand pass, and with 73 seconds to go in the second period, it will be a neutral zone face-off upcoming. So these Carolina Hurricanes, with Tuesday's win last week, clinched the top spot in the Metropolitan Division. So the Hurricanes now have won their division for the 8th time in franchise history, first time since 22-23. And since Rod took over as head coach in 2018, the Hurricanes have won the Metro 3 times, which is tied with the Capitals for the most in that span. Carolina also hit the 50-win mark for the 4th time in 5 seasons. That ties the Avalanche for the most among all teams since 21-22. So face-off in neutral, won by the Canes, played down in the Flyers zone. Skylar Brindamore in the near corner, backhanded it up to Riley at the left point. A minute to go in the second period. It goes around the Flyer goal to the far wall. Robinson and Forster tied up with one another. Robinson trying to dig that puck out. Has his stick tied up, it squirts to Brindamore. Played it to the point. Riley has an open shot. His stick shattered on the slap shot. Bad luck there for Mike Riley, as now the Flyers will get it in the far corner. Drysdale now shielding behind his own net, played it around up the near side, and at the red line tip, it'll shoot it in, and it goes around the Hurricane net for Legault to put it right back where it came from. Now up the near side, Miller found Martinook over the Flyer line, tried to spin on Ristolainen, got taken down, and now back to center come the Flyers. Right wing it's Zegras, crisscrossing into the Hurricane zone. Put it off the far wall to Sanheim in the final 20 of the period. Down low, a puck's taken by Forrester. Backhanded near the trapezoid to Zegras, trying to get away from Keandre Miller. He sandwiched off the puck. And now on the near side, here's Martinook in the final 8 of the period. Moved it up the left wing for Brindamore. He'll shoot it in, and that will kill off the rest of the time here in period number 2. So the Flyers got the 2 they needed to equalize it here in the middle frame, as Matvei Michkov able to get his 19th of the year, made it 2-1 Carolina, and then Trevor Zegras, power play marker for his 26th from Mortone and Forrester, tied it all up. Michkov's goal from Barkey and Cates, and that was the scoring here in period number 2. Shots in that period were 8-5 in favor of Carolina, 14-12 Hurricanes overall in the game, and in that period 6 hits for the Carolina Hurricanes. Meanwhile, 16 for the Philadelphia Flyers, who brought much more juice to the table in that second period, especially after the first 8 minutes or so elapsed. So don't go anywhere. A big third period awaits. The Hurricanes need a point to clinch the Metro. We'll see if maybe a gentleman's agreement happens and they play overtime to see if the Flyers can get the 2 points and clinch a spot in the playoffs. So there's a lot up for grabs here in this third period. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Hurricanes Flyers with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Welcome back to Philadelphia for the start of a big third period as the Flyers need a win to clinch a playoff spot in the East. The Hurricanes need 1 point to clinch home ice throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs as we are knotted up at 2 here through 40 minutes of play. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Goals by Nadeau and Ehlers had the Canes up 2-0 early, and then Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras found the back of the net in the second period. Zegras on the power play tied it, and that's where we stand now as we start Period 3, the Flyers win the draw at center. They punch it in down to our left as they attack right to left. And the Hurricanes moving left to right, corral it out of their own zone and flip it back to center. As it rolls past the benches into Flyer territory, Drysdale will pick it up here and in his own zone, snap it up the left wing. It's tipped by Zegras. Was he shy of the red line? Doesn't matter. It went off of Bussy's pad as no icing as Nikishin will corral back in his own zone. Alexander Nikishin in his first full season here as a Hurricane, second overall. Passed it on the near side. Walker will snap it around. Bounced in behind the Flyer net. Put up the near side, and on the left wing for the Flyers, it's Forster. Tried to play it at the logo for Dvorak, but it's turned back by the Canes on the right wing. Here's Kakanyemi in at the right circle. Backhanded one behind the goal. Came around to Nadeau, far left wing, up to the point. Miller's shot, blocked, stayed in the zone. Here, but now a pass to the near side, finds Carolina's Nick Ehlers as he skates from low to high, played it to the net, gloved easily by Ehlers as he shakes his head, or gloved easily by Vladar on the shot by Ehlers as he shakes his head no on that save, and a faceoff will come up here to his left. So shots on goal 15-13 in favor of the Hurricanes. One shot on goal so far in the second period for the Flyers. One on as well for the Hurricanes, as with 56 seconds played, we have a faceoff coming up with Stankoven against Dvorak to the left of Vladar. Dvorak able to win it clean, and behind the goal it's Ristolainen and up the far wall, trying to get it out for the Flyers. Can't as it bounces down, and Hall tried to play it back, but Ristolainen played it up, came back to Hall, and it's right behind the Flyer net now at the dump in. Came up the near side, it's out the center, on its Martone, tried to one-arm it across for Dvorak, and he couldn't get it to him as the Canes take it away. And now Taylor Hall in his own zone at the far circle, skates up through neutral ice at the red line, dished it to Stankoven, left wing onside into the circle, played it now on his own backhand to the corner. Jackson Blake got twisted off it by Sealer, and Sealer up for Martone, touched to Cates, left wing Barkey in over the Carolina line, taken to the boards by Legault as the puck rolls to the near corner down to our left, poked around to Michkov. Far side, played it to the point off of Bank. Sealer a shot, save Bussy, rebound in the slot. Barkey turned it around and shot one off the shoulder of Bussy. Came to the near side now, and it'll be played out by Jackson Blake. And now at the Flyers' blue line, it'll be poked by Robinson. Offside, says the linesman. Or no, it's going to stay inside the zone. I think that puck might have went out of play. I couldn't exactly see it. But the linesman points that the faceoff will stay inside the Flyer defensive zone to the faceoff circle on the near side. So again, a reminder, I'll be with you guys this week, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday, the remainder of the regular season, and Saturday and Sunday, it'll be the early games to kick off the first 2 days of the Stanley Cup Playoffs right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Matthew Owens will have the primetime game for the Stanley Cup Playoffs this Saturday at 8 Eastern. Looking forward to the best time of year. Face off here now to the left of Vladar. Couturier's up there against Brindamore for the Hurricanes now. It's the fourth lines out here for this O-zone draw. And off the draw, Couturier pulled it back, and behind the goal, Cam York's on it for the Flyers. On his backhand, put it up the far wing, came past Hathaway and came to Nikishin instead for the Hurricanes. Sent it this way in his own zone for Walker, who put it up the boards for Martinook. Over the red line, now the blue, dished it for Brindamore. Right wing circle, a shot went into the skates, collected now by Hathaway, put to the far wall for Couturier. He backhanded one up ahead, came in front of the Hurricanes bench to be collected by the Flyers. Hathaway once again, played it behind the Hurricane net, twisted it to himself in the trapezoid. Stick now shattered as well in behind as the puck came to Brindamore for the Hurricanes. And the Flyers are changing him up so he has space. Put it up the near wall. It's tipped in by Robinson as the fourth line heads to change for the Hurricanes. And behind the Flyer net now Ristolainen will drop it off. Sanheim on the near side. Put it up the left wing, not out, cut off immediately by Carrier. Put it back to the far corner, Jankowski taking an angle to it, but Sanheim cuts him off, and now Ristolainen helped it up, but not out. Shot to the net, save Vladar, rebounded behind on that shot from the far point. Came to Jankowski, right wing circle, now Carrier, a shot, far post, and it was blocker down by Dan Vladar to the far wall. Now it's punched out by the Flyers to center, and now it's Keandre Miller resetting in his own zone with 3 minutes played in the third period for the Hurricanes. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channels. This game's tied up at 2. Flyers win and they're in, and a point for the Hurricanes gets them their top spot in the Eastern Conference. Is right now on the far wing. Martone's into the circle, centered for Dvorak, and the tip was out of his reach. Came to the near side for Konechny, put it in the slot, out of the reach of Drysdale. Puck ricochets now in for a foot race between Ehlers and Drysdale, and now Drysdale's able to end up with it as Ehlers took a fun route to it, but couldn't end up with it. The Flyers, though, can't get it beyond the red line before it's wired back in by the Canes. Bouncing puck came back to the blue line. Konechny carries to the far wall. It's put into the skates of Cates, but it stays onside as he dished it to the far corner down to our left. Konechny can't grab it. Nikishin played it up, not out. Cates dished it this way. Martone fanned on a one-timer that was still in the air when it came to him, as now it's knocked down in the slot by the Canes. Martone couldn't find it, and now Carolina's Kotkaniemi will send it in and head for a change. We're through 4 minutes here in this third period. 2-2, Hurricanes and Flyers. Emil Andre for the Flyers at center to the far wing into the zone. It's put deep by Cates. Behind the goal, a penalty's coming up here on the Hurricanes. It's to the point. Here's a shot by Sealer. It went through the legs of Bussy. It's free. Michkov can't get it through as now the whistle goes, and there's an injury too as Legault is down in the slot. As now Michkov and Blake are talking to one another. As Bussy here had that shot come right to his 5-hole by Nick Sealer, and it did not find its way through, as now there seems to be a lot of confusion on the ice as to perhaps who this penalty's on. As it was on the Hurricanes, Mike Riley got the high stick. It caught Barkey in the eye, perhaps, as he's holding near his right eye. So it is going to be a penalty on Carolina. The question is, will it be 2 minutes or will it be 4 minutes on this high stick? And then Legault as well in the slot got taken down, trying to see what happened. Oh, it might have been an elbow given by Legault, not the high stick now that I see it. So another look, Riley tried to play it, but Legault, it was an elbow from Legault that came up the right elbow and hit Barkey right in the face. So it'll be an elbowing penalty coming up here to the Hurricanes. And we haven't seen a clip of Legault or who's going to serve it yet in the box. As now Brad Brindamore's talking things over with linesman Devin Berg. By the way, the referees tonight, Chris Rooney and Jake Brink, if you're just now joining the broadcast, as Brindamore's trying to get an explanation here from the linesman. And it should be a Flyer power play. Ooh, and now they got the headset on here, and are they going to be looking at this for a major penalty, perhaps? This could be big if that ends up being the case. Looking here at the replay, it caught Barkey good. I could not tell you if it was inadvertent or if that was like an accidentally on purpose elbow. I'm just going to kind of trust what the officials say here, as it was just a regular drive-by, and he just clipped his elbow up. I mean, there was no reason for him to put his elbow up, but I don't exactly know what the referees are going to call here. So this will be a very interesting experience if the Flyers get a 5-minute major out of all of this, and it'll be because an AHL defenseman and Charles Alexis Legault came up in here for Shane Gostisbehere and Jacob Slavin, who are out tonight, and this could be a big penalty here taken and could even cost the Hurricanes home ice in the Eastern Conference if they lose this game in regulation and can't do anything tomorrow in Long Island. Now a decision's been made here, and we'll see what they exactly put on the clock, as after further review, the official has decided that, well, he didn't put up a 2 or a 5, and it looks like it's going to be a 5 as Legault's coming out of the penalty box now, and he's going to go to the locker room. So it looks like a 5-minute major has been issued out here now to the Hurricanes. So we'll fix this on the score bug real quick, as we'll put 5 minutes on the clock, as now a big major for the Philadelphia Flyers could make or break their season, as if they don't score on this power play, this is going to kill off a lot of clock, and then it'll be down to the final 10 minutes, and then it'll be a battle of whether this game gets to overtime or not and who wins in the 3-on-3. But this is a very big moment in this game, and are they just giving a 10-minute misconduct? I could be wrong. I apologize, everybody. So I don't have game audio. I don't have anything in my ear. They were reviewing the play, and after putting an arm up, the referee put his arm up for a penalty. As we're going to resume play, the Flyers win the draw. They sent Legault to the box, and then they put the headset on, they review it, they take him out of the box, and I guess maybe they decided that it wasn't even a penalty at all. So I beg your pardon for the confusion. It's just hard when I'm not actually in the building and have a whole staff telling me what's going on. I kind of just got to rely on what my two eyes see, so I'm sorry for the confusion, but we remain 5 skaters aside. It is not going to be a major power play for the Flyers, and after all that confusion, we have 15 minutes remaining in the third period, and the puck's down to our right behind the Philadelphia net. So here's Jamie Drysdale with it, still sitting in that trapezoid. On the forecheck, Bradley Nadeau for Carolina sits on top of the blue paint. Puck played on the near wall. Zegras taps it out the center. Steered right back in, though, by Sean Walker. Came right back to Stankoven, but turned in now for Hall to the far circle. On the left side, it's Blake in with a shot and a breadbasket save made by Dan Vladar. As the top line for Carolina here, Stankoven, Blake, and Hall connected on a pretty zone entry that resulted on a good scoring chance, but a good stop there by the Philadelphia netminder. So again, a look at the Eastern Conference playoff standings. The Flyers, if they get 1 point in this game, they will not clinch, but they would need a Blue Jackets win tomorrow in any fashion, or they just got to get a point as well in that game against Montreal. If they don't get any points in the 2 games and Columbus wins, they're in. If Philadelphia just gets 1 point and Capitals win tomorrow, Ovi and the Caps will play Crosby, perhaps in one final playoff series. Face-off, though, to the right of Vladar, won by the Flyers, flipped out, but right back in come the Canes. Left wing, it's Taylor Hall looking around Rasmus Ristolainen's defense, and now he got tripped up by his own man, Jackson Blake, as now the Canes still stay with it in the O zone somehow. As in the far corner now, Couturier took it away from Blake, and now backhanded one out the center, as Jackson Blake upended his own man in what could have been a good O-zone opportunity with the top line, but now they have to twist it back in. Stankoven popped it right on that, and it's going to be gloved by Vladar and covered as Stankoven came right at him. So with 14:08 to go here in this third period, another whistle and a face-off coming up in the O-zone for Carolina to the left of the goaltender, Dan Vladar. So Carolina earlier in this game, Bradley Nadeau opened the scoring, 3rd of the year. Then on the power play, Nick Ehlers got his 25th goal and 70 point on the season. Carolina now 16 power play goals over their last 14 games. And then Matvei Michkov for the Flyers, 19th of the year. And then Trevor Zegras on their power play opportunity, able to cash in. That's where we're at right now, 2-2. Your score in this one. So a face-off's going to have to be done over here to the left of Vladar as they started to drop the puck, but ruled it was done unfairly. So it'll be Martinook in for this draw against Christian Dvorak. So off the draw, Dvorak won it clean, came to the back and behind the goal. Emil Andres with it for the Flyers. Put it up the far boards weakly, though, as it came to the point. Chatfield put it right back down low. Hurricanes had too many skaters up high as the Flyers were able to get back to it, but as they tried to clear, Martinook did a good job on the right wing to put it back down low. Martinook now on the left side, backhanded one up to Keandre Miller, got it back at the left wing circle. His shot gloved in the air by Vladar and covered. As with 13:45 to go in the third period, we'll step aside. It's 2-2, Flyers and Hurricanes right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Welcome back to Philadelphia, past the halfway point here, almost near the halfway point here of the third period, as we're tied up at 2. Flyers a win gets them in and a date with the Penguins. Carolina gets a point. They get the top spot in the Eastern Conference. If the Flyers lose of any kind, they're going to have to get at least a point tomorrow against the Canadiens to punch their ticket. As a face-off to the right of Vladar is won by the Canes. To the back, Mike Riley, long flipper, didn't make it to the goal as it deflects to the far wall. Up the wall it goes. Delorier played it right back now to Carrier. Carrier button hooking on his backhand on the far side. Got poke checked by Sanheim, came up past Riley, and now a foot race is on. Legault will get to it as he played it back to center. Dvorak cut off at the Flyers or the Hurricanes blue line and had to play it to the near corner. Down low now, trying to get to its Konechny. He lost his stick as the puck came up the wall. Carrier's tied up with Dvorak as it comes back down beneath the Carolina goal line. Down on the far wall, Riley can't clear. Here's Dvorak this way. Konechny in the slot. Martone tried to make one too many passes to Konechny. Flyer fan, I could tell he's mad. He's going, he wants them to shoot the puck. He was definitely furious. Black sweater down on the near left side cracked me up as Konechny left wing circle across Martone. Shot, left pad saved by Bussy. Rebound to the far wall. Carrier flipped it up. It'll go into the Flyers blue line. It's right back on the near side. Konechny right in. Left wing circle. Pulls up and now trying to cut to the slot. Backhanded it left wing side for Zegras. Put it behind in the trapezoid. Martone will give it back. Zegras tried to bunt it in the slot. It came to the Hurricanes. Losing it in this paraphernalia was Kotkaniemi. And now here's Zegras back on it. Far right wing. Tried to play it back to the point, but it's taken away by the Canes. And not out though as it's crept nicely on the far wall. Backhanding his way into the slot and a shot by Forster trickled to Bussy. And he's able to locate and cover. 12:23 remaining in this third period. So I mentioned our schedule coming up ahead. I mentioned the hockey. I mentioned the basketball. Can't forget the NASCARs. That seems to get the best views on this channel. As coming up on Sunday, we will head to Kansas on April 19th for the Advent Health 400. Matthew Owens will get that started with you at 2 p.m. Eastern Time this Sunday on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Then after that, to Talladega we go. Face off to the right of Bussy, won by the Flyers, but the shot right on by Tippett's blocked off the skate of Blake and rolls back into the Flyers zone. And on the near side, Cam York will play it up. It'll roll into the Hurricane zone now. Rolling into the near corner, it's grabbed by Walker. Walker up, Blake backhanded one in midair out to center, and now it's twisted in front of the penalty boxes by Hall. Behind the goal, Vladar left it for Drysdale and up the far wall. Tippett played it off the skates of Blake and into the bench it goes. And another whistle here with 11:56 remaining in period number 3. Face-off will stay here in neutral ice. So I mentioned the Flyers earlier trying to get this playoff ticket punched, and they wouldn't have done that if they haven't been so good on the road this year. Their 23 road wins are the most in a year since 2011-2012 and the 4th most in franchise history. As now with one more potential game at home, if this one doesn't work out tonight, we'll see if they even get one more road game this year, as they would start on the road in Pittsburgh, likely Saturday night. My guess is it would be the game Matthew Owens gets at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here in the States, but it could be Montreal-Tampa as well, because the Canadian network might decide they want Montreal on their primetime airwaves. Never know. We'll see coming up later this week what the schedule will be. Meanwhile, 11:40 to go in the third. Puck down to our right behind the Flyer goal. The Canes control to the back. Keandre Miller straight away to the right wing circle. A backhander went off the side of the net by Martinook. Collected now behind the goal by Robinson. Had a good game tonight. Played it down low and a turnaround shot by Brindamore. Blocked by the skates of York in behind. Came back to Brindamore on the near side thanks to Martinook. He got sandwiched into the corner nicely there by the Flyers. As in the near corner, that puck still rides the stanchion around. Plop down now near the trapezoid. Free now for Martinook on the far side, shielding on his backhand against York. Lost it. Hathaway takes it for the Flyers. Got it out the center, past the the Hurricanes blue line. It'll go. And Miller will take it back as both teams change in the final 11 minutes here of regulation time. Here comes Stankoven, right wing, over the Flyers line. Threw it towards the net, went to the far corner. Hall will play it right back on goal, in and out of the glove of Vladar, but he'll cover. And now a whistle with 10:50 remaining as the Hurricanes top lines now made their way onto the ice. So it looks like it'll remain Cates, Barkey, and Michkov on the ice as well for this defensive zone draw. So it'll be Stankoven, Blake, and Hall for the Hurricanes against Cates, Barkey, and Michkov for the Flyers. As now this top line for the Hurricanes talks things over, as these guys have all been red hot lately. As Stankoven's on a 7-game point streak, Blake's on a 6-game point streak, Taylor Hall has goals in 3 straight games and points in 5 straight. Is off the draw. A tie-up goes to the far corner. Hall dug it out. Shielding on his backhand. Ran into Martone. Puck went through his legs. Came to the point. Riley into the slot. A shot went over the crossbar. Back to Blake. Trickled in front. Punched out by a diving Vladar. And on the near wing now comes Konechny. Konechny up the side. Put it into Carolina ice just over the blue line. And it's taken right back by the Hurricanes. Riley on the far side. Gets the red line. Shoots it in. Top line will stay on the ice for the Carolina Hurricanes. In the near corner. Blake tried to hunt it down. Left it on the near wing, but it was only Konechny there as he'll flutter one out the center for Dvorak over the red line. Now the blue into the near corner. He sends it. Konechny after it behind the Hurricane net. Tried to feed Martone far wall. It came up to the point. Andre sent it back down low. Konechny here knocked off the puck by Walker. Walker backhanded it up. Blake will chip it out to center. The Canes will get a change. The Flyers trying to hurry right back in. Left wing side Sealer over the Hurricane line. Dropped it off in the circle. Here's Konechny across back door. Kane shut down by Bussy. He can't cover. Now he locates, and he'll put a glove on it with 9:48 to go in the third as the Flyers just barely had room to beat Bussy on the glove side, but just with that right arm. I've never seen more arm saves than I have in the last couple of weeks in this league, and a right arm by Bussy, able to get the glove on it, covers. And that sends us to another break here, tied at 2 in Philly. It's getting good at Xfinity Mobile Arena. Back in Philly, where the Flyers and Hurricanes are still deadlocked at 2 goals apiece. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Let's take a spin around the National while we got a moment. Sabres and Blackhawks tied at 1-1. Ryan Green, a shorthanded goal for Chicago. Norris on the board for Buffalo. Rangers Panthers tied at 2 at 5 minutes remaining in Jonathan Quick's final game of his career. Stars and Leafs tied at 3. Leafs went up 3-0. Stars tied it at 3. Wild and Blues also tied at 3. And the Sharks and Preds scoreless in period 2 out in Smashville. So back underway in Philadelphia, as in neutral ice, a hand pass by Hall won't get blown dead as it was touched next by a Flyer. As now on the near side, it rolls into Fly Guy ice. Into the near side, Drysdale knocked off the puck by Jankowski, but it came up the boards for Cates to clear. And will it roll far enough for an icing? It won't. So Nikishin will have to slash it around the wall. To the far point it goes, up now to neutral ice as it rolls to center, and Ristolainen sends it this way. Michkov back into the Hurricane zone, cutting wide down low. Threw it around to the far point, as now Ehlers will just take it right out to center, and the Flyers will reset again. Ristolainen, left wing Zegras is in, left wing Dot, played it up high at the point. Here's a shot, Sanheim, rebound given by Bussy, and that save through the slot came to the near wall for Chatfield. Put it up the near wall, it'll roll back past the penalty boxes. Sanheim ahead for Forster, twisted it left wing Zegras, got poke checked, stayed with it, played it right down low, but to the Hurricanes Nikishin it goes, and he flipped it out to the logo at center. Nadeau tried to bunt it down, it came to Kotkaniemi, who threw it on the near side for Ehlers. He's in with the shot and a save made from the right wing circle by Vladar. Meanwhile, puck in the near corner. Nadeau can't get there. A jolt's given as well to the near corner by Kotkaniemi. As the Flyers, meanwhile, left wing Zegras is out. It played it across and a shot. Tippett shut down Bussy. A penalty, I believe, is coming up on the Canes. That will be as the whistle goes with 8:22 to go in the third. And Chatfield's hurt here for the Hurricanes. Immediately going down the tunnel to the locker room with a limp. As now to the box is going to go Nikolai Ehlers. And a huge power play coming up here for, that still says 5 minutes. And a huge power play coming up here for the Philadelphia Flyers. As we'll get 2 minutes on the clock. As Ehlers will sit as he got taken or took a man down, and then Tippett delivered a huge hit to Chatfield on the far boards, and that is what sent Chatfield to the dressing room as he got plastered right on his chest up against the glass, and he went down hard, and we'll see if he returns in this one. And then the slash on Ehlers, kind of a soft call as he kind of just touched him on the left hip. But they called the slash. 2 minutes on the clock for Philadelphia with the man advantage. And if they score, this place is going to erupt. They win the draw to the right of Bussy. Here now is Drysdale. Played it to the far point for Zegras, who has the power play goal tonight. Shot it to the net. Missed to the blocker side of Bussy. Played up to the left point now. Here's Drysdale. Along the near side, it's bunted down by Martone. Tied up by the Hurricanes. Walker sends it up. It gets out the center. And the Hurricanes are up shorthanded. Right wing Jankowski. He left it over the line. Martinook, a shot. Save made by Vladar. Here come the Flyers with numbers the other way. Martone over the logo. Right wing. Got poke checked at the Carolina blue line. As the Flyers now have to reset with 30 seconds gone by on their power play. So here's Forster now with 7:45 to go in the first. Dropped it for Zegras on the push and back entry. Over the red and the blue he goes. To the far wall, Konechny will put it behind. Zegras is there, launched it right back to the far point, but nobody's there to grab it for the Flyers. And they have to chase back again. 68 seconds remain on this power play. 2-2 your score. Flyers need a win to clinch a playoff spot in this game tonight. Hurricanes need a point to win the Eastern Conference's top seed honors. Now into the Hurricane zone come the Flyers again. Tippett's drop pass has Konechny gliding to the left wing circle. Put it up between now the dots for Ristolainen. Got a return pass at the far point. Long wrister knocked down by Tippett with the glove. Played to the near wall, and now it's sent up and not out by the Hurricanes. Konechny tried to hit a man backdoor. Michkov couldn't as Nikishin had to go off his blade. But Michkov now this way, left wing circle. Konechny is shot at a diving block by Legault. Cut off that shot. Near side now. It's played to Konechny from Dvorak. Cutting on top of the paint. It's poke checked out to center by Legault. And the Flyers have to reset again. Final 24 of their power play. Here's Tippett at the logo to the far wing. Into the zone comes Michkov. Gave it back to Tippett. Straight in from the slot. A shot. Save made. Rebound. Dvorak can't get there. Behind the goals, Tippett. Bussy will cover. And with 6:34 to go in the third, 12 seconds remain on this power play for Philadelphia as they've tested the Canes quite well. But this Canes PK unit and Bussy in net have done a splendid job on this PK. And that shot by Konechny got a collective groan from the arena here, though none of us could hear it. I could only imagine on that diving shot block by Legault. As now to the right of Bussy's the ensuing draw. Cates is able to win it to the back. It's touched by Zegras to the point for York. York left circle, played it for Forster. Deflected to the corner. Cates trying to get there. Sandwich to the boards by Walker. Now in behind in that corner. It's punched for Zegras in the trap his way. Put it in front and a touch shot there. Shut down by the right glove of Bussy. Penalty time's now up and fresh out of the box is Ehlers. He has the puck right wing over the Flyer line to the far side. It's played Jankowski to shoot it in. Behind the Flyer net now it'll be left by Vladar. Cam York now with it. Will park the bus and wait for his team to fully change. Chatfield now rejoins the Hurricanes on their bench as Cam York from behind his own net played it on the near side for Couturier. Glides through center. The Flyer captain to the far wall. Barkey in, trying to cut wide on Riley with a shot and a good defensive stick by Riley as now it's played up by Legault on the near side for Hall. Hall goes rink wide for Stankoven. A bank pass finds him on the left wing into the Flyer zone. Puts on the brakes, finds the trailer. Riley a shot off the end boards it goes to the near corner. Blake, sandwiched here by two Flyers as around the goal it goes Stankoven. Up top Riley a shot deflected now to Hall on the far left wing. Hall now trying to protect. Got it to the point, but Riley can't keep it. Out come the Flyers. Here's Glendening on the near side. Put it into the Hurricanes zone. Behind the goal, it rose to the far corner. Now in the trapezoid, Hall played it to Mike Riley, and Riley up the near boards, finds his man Jackson Blake still out there. Goes across to Hall. Hall over the red line, shot it in at the blue, and now heads to change. Final 5 minutes here of regulation time. A point for Carolina clinches the top spot in the East. The Flyers need 2 to get into the big dance. Behind the Hurricanes net, it's shot in. Nikishin there with it for Carolina. Played it now up himself to the red line. Shot it into the near corner of the Flyers zone. It rolls around to the far. Again, the Flyers D zone down to our right. As if you're trying to picture along, that's where it would be. As now out the center attacking right to left come the Flyers. Dvorak straight in. Far wall, Martono play it down low. Around the goal, it goes to the left wing corner. It squirts to the trapezoid. Ehlers will take it. No, Ehlers now. Stretch pass up ahead for Nadeau. Deflects off a Flyer into the defensive zone. And Ristolainen will peel back with it. 4:25 left in this third period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Flyers punch it in, and around the goal it goes to the near corner. On it is Carrier for Carolina, trying to move it along. Cates put him up against the glass, and now it rolls up for the Hurricanes to escape the center. On the near wing, it's one-armed by Carrier for Jankowski over the line to the far wall. Here's Delorier, a tough angle shot, shut down Vladar, rebound to the near corner. On it for the Canes now, Delorier. Fed it to the far point. Keandre Miller, long shot off the headgear of Vladar. He stunned and fell backwards like David Ross for the Cubs in Game 7. Back to his feet now. To the far corner, Ristolainen. Played it off his own feet. Got tied up now as Delorier took it away from him. Came, though, to Michkov on the near wall as the Flyers are out on the left side. Can't get it out as Chatfield had it for a moment but lost it. And now at center. Here's now Keandre Miller resetting. Both teams changing. 3:30 to go in the third period. Shot back in by Chatfield, but it looks like it deflects out of play. So at 3:28 to go here in the third, I believe we're going to step aside one last time. That's what we'll do. And when we come back, we'll see if this game ends in regulation or if the Hurricanes can stymie the Flyers or if the Flyers have this place explode before overtime gets here. Stick around. We'll find out how this one ends. Back with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. My name is Jaric Rubel, and as I see the listener count climbing up, if you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, hit the like button as well. I'll be live tomorrow and Thursday with the conclusion of the NHL regular season, and on Saturday and Sunday, the real thing begins, the Stanley Cup Playoffs. I'll be with you in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday. Matthew Owens will have the primetime game on Saturday night, as we're looking forward to grinding out the NBA and NHL playoffs with you all. So back here in Philadelphia now, is this game still tied at 2? If you're just now joining the broadcast, I'll reiterate what's at stake. The Flyers here need a win to clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. If they lose in overtime, tomorrow's game will still mean something. If they lose in regulation, it'll definitely mean something. And if they get the 2 points, it won't matter. But if they lose, they will need either a point tomorrow if they get a point tonight, or if they get 0 points, dunzo, because whoever wins that Washington-Columbus game will get in. So face off at center. With 3:25 to go in the third, the Canes win it. It's played into Philadelphia ice. Eric Robinson had it on the far corner, punched it up to the point. Here is now Nikishin. His shot came right back to him after it was blocked, and that stung Tippett to the near corner. It's played, and now Robinson tried to feed it in front, came back to him, fanned on the shot again. Is still at that right wing circle. He had to play it down low. Rotates here with Jordan Martinook. Good job here, though, by the Flyers to give Martinook a hard time. He turned it over, and now to center comes Forrester. Tippett's limping to the Flyer bench as he's struggling, as now they've iced the puck here, and I don't know if Tippett's going to come back on or if they're going to allow the injury change, but an icing here on the Flyers has an ozone draw coming up for these Hurricanes. Again, their season finale in the regular season, of course, tomorrow against the Islanders on Long Island, and then tomorrow, of course, the Flyers host the Montreal Canadiens. That could mean a lot, or it could mean nothing, and we'll find out here in the next about 20 minutes of real time what ends up being the case. So ozone draw here with the top line on the ice. Stankoven, Hall, and Blake for the Hurricanes. And after a long pause, I believe they're going to allow the injury change for Philadelphia, and that's why it's taken so long, as Forrester and company are back in the D zone. And we'll see if Tippett is exactly out here or not. Can't get a number as it's zoomed in on the camera, and he is not. As off the draw, Miller's shot just missed to the glove side of Vladar as he looks skyward. Behind the goal now, Stankoven played it to the far wall, Chatfield. Right back to Stank in the slot. Hall one-timer, knuckle puck deflected wide off a stray stick in the slot. Now the Flyers trying to clear on the far boards. Konechny got it to Forrester, who got it out. Now on the near side, or on the far side in the Cane zone, Miller played it up, grabbed by Chatfield, who's back on the ice after that heavy hit by Tippett. Goes back to Miller now on the far side. Rink wide right wing for Blake. He'll shoot it in. After it is Stankoven with Sanheim. Sanheim on it first. Played it to Jackson Blake, though, as he dances at the right wing. Made a move. Backhand save Vladar, and he'll cover as Jackson Blake did the NHL video game windmill move into the slot. And his backhander was stopped by Vladar, and it was an awkward stop by Dan Vladar, as the Canes here with a couple of good chances. Miller and Blake trying to put the Flyers fans and this team on their heels heading into tomorrow. Just couldn't quite bury that puck. 2:11 to go in the third. Face off here coming up in the Flyers defensive zone again after that stop by Vladar. Shots are 22-21 in favor of Carolina. A very even game here tonight. Again, no Aho, no Svechnikov, no Gostisbehere, no Jarvis, no Slavin for the Hurricanes, as they've been resting as they win an ozone draw. Nikishin to the back had a shot deflect off Glendening's stick out of play. So once again, this faceoff will stay inside the Flyers' defensive zone. So that Keandre Miller shot that we just saw was so close to being his third goal in 3 games, as he has points in 4 of his last 5 games as well. It's the Hopkins, Minnesota native now has 37 points in 71 games this year, marking the second most points in his career, trailing only the 2023 season with the Rangers. To the right of Vladar, the Flyers lose the draw. The Hurricanes put it on net thanks to Ehlers, and a butterfly save by Vladar. Rebound to the near wall, and Ehlers is on it. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Ehlers wound up a slap shot, but dropped it for Nikishin. Came in the slot in the dough. His shot got blocked, and it came back to him. Punched it far wall. It'll be grabbed Nikishin. Cutting down to the half boards. Put on the brakes here against Drysdale, protecting. Threw it to the back, and at the point it slung this way for Walker. Off the wall it went, though, into Glendening it'll come. And the Flyers will get out in the final 95 of the period. So they had to change as it's put behind the Carolina net. As on the far walls, Nikishin again for the Hurricanes. He'll leave it now in his own zone. That was Ehlers, I should say, leaving for Nikishin, as these darn black letters and numbers on the dark red jerseys are a blessing and a curse, I guess, as it's a broadcaster's nightmare in my opinion. The Hurricanes now snap it back into Philadelphia ice. Final 70 of the third period, as Jankowski on the near side is getting tied up in the corner was Delorier with Sanheim. Meanwhile, on the far corner, Carrier tried to play it up to the point. It got tied up in the skates, but it's kept in by Miller. Played back down low in the final minute behind the Flyers' goal line. They just want to get this to overtime. The Canes don't really care, perhaps, as they are trying, though, to win this in regulation. They've been pressing, but they don't exactly have anything to play for, as they're guaranteed a point at this point as long as nothing happens in the next 40 seconds as back into the Flyers zone they come with the top line on the ice. Hall centered Blake at the right wing circle, looking for an option. Kind of ran out of racetrack as Zegras pushes him against the glass, but Blake stays with it. Jackson Blake here, looking from the right point, played it towards the net. It deflects near the far circle. Chatfield's on it, left it Stankoven. In the slot, Blake got poke checked by Zegras, puck up to the far wall. Now Chatfield kept it in. Stankoven tried to send it to Blake. It's taken away in the final baker's dozen by the Flyers. Left wing tip it over the line. In the slot, Drysdale bounced over his blade. Now here comes Blake in the final 7. Up the far left wing, cuts into the slot. In the Flyers' own right wing circle, a shot gets blocked. That will let time expire. And to overtime we go tonight. So the Hurricanes, with that point, have clinched the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Home ice will run through Rallywood as they, for the first time since their Stanley Cup championship in 2006, are the 1 seed. We'll see if the Flyers get the extra point and punch their ticket in overtime as 3-on-3's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Flyers and Hurricanes tied at 2. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here for the beginning of overtime from Philadelphia. Flyers and Hurricanes tied at 2 goals apiece. And let's take a look at how we got here, as this is now the 4th straight game to go the distance between these two teams. Bradley Nadeau's 3rd of the year from Ehlers and Walker. 8:41 into this game gave the Canes the lead. Then Nikolai Ehlers on the power play, 25th of the year, 70th point on the season from Stankoven and Blake gave him a 2-0 lead. Ehlers joins Corey Stillman as the second player to record 70 points in their first season with the Canes. Then the Flyers got him back. Matvei Michkov, 19th of the year from Barkey and Cates. Then on the power play, Trevor Zegras, 26th of the year from Martone and Forrester. Porter Martone now up to a point streak of 5 games, the 5th Flyer teenager to do that since 1993. So it'll be Walker and Miller with Jankowski to start this overtime for the Hurricanes. Dvorak with Konechny for the Flyers. And as we zoom out, I'll be able to tell you that Sanheim's the defenseman for Philly. And off the tie-up, the Flyers get it. And we're underway. Flyers attacking left to right in overtime. Hurricanes going right to left. Flyers looking to clinch a playoff spot with an overtime goal. Here's Konechny at the logo. To the far wing into the Hurricane zone he goes. Cuts his way near the slot. Now near the right wing's board he goes. Travis Konechny just protecting against Keandre Miller. Goes through the trapezoid to the far left wing circle. He skates now in the slot, peels off back out to center. As with 30 seconds gone by, he doesn't like what he sees and Konechny will regroup. Left it on the near side. Lifting the stick nicely of Walker for the Hurricanes was Walker as Zegras walked back in and his shot missed by a mile. As now it looks like we have a stoppage in play here with 4:17 to go in overtime as a puck hit somebody in the Flyers bench. So we'll have a face-off coming up here after a rare stoppage here in 3-on-3 overtime. In overtime this year, past 60 minutes, the Hurricanes are 14-6, the Flyers 15-12. So we'll see where this face-off ends up being. As Zegras gets off the ice for the Flyers, Couturier will step on. The face-off will be in front of the Flyer bench. So Couturier and Tippett with Drysdale against Stankoven, Blake, and Nikishin. Off the draw, Stankoven's able to win it back, and Nikishin controls here for the Hurricanes. He'll drop it off for Jackson Blake, as now he circles behind his own net with 55 seconds played in overtime. He left it for Stankoven with speed up through center. Over the red line he goes, now circles at the far wall. Played it to this Side now in front of the penalty boxes for Blake. Back up ahead, Stankoven. Stankoven to the left wing circle. Pulls up. Now leaves it for Blake. Blake cutting into the slot. Has space to the far circle. A shot off the post. It went off the inside of the post past the blocker side of Vladar. And now come the Flyers on the near side. Over the line, Zegras. He got poke checked but got it back. Blake trying to lift his stick. Pushed him up against the glass. Jackson Blake trying to steal it. Got it away from Zegras as the Hurricanes get possession back with 3:30 to go in overtime. Pass up the left wing, finds Stankoven. Hurricanes trying to change on the fly as Blake's going to head off the ice, and Stankoven will too as it's dropped back for Nikishin. Now dished ahead on the left side for Nick Ehlers. Has 2 points in this game already, a goal and an assist. He'll leave it for Taylor Hall, straight into the Flyer zone, far right wing circle. Peels up now and heads out to center. As now with 2 minutes played in overtime, the Hurricanes rethink things. Ehlers back in, far right wing over the Flyer line. Right wing circle, his shot saved Vladar. Wasn't sure he had it for a second. And the whistle goes as he wasn't sure if he wanted to cover, but referee Chris Rooney blew it dead. So an ozone draw coming up here for the Hurricanes. As I would imagine perhaps we'll see Kotkaniemi out here for this draw, as we haven't seen him in overtime yet. And he certainly can take a face-off if need be. Is on the year for him. He's 49% at the face-off dot. And we'll see who exactly is thrown over the boards. It looks like Carolina might have taken their time out here, as it seems like a meeting starting to form in front of the Hurricane bench. And that's exactly what has happened. So Rod Brind'Amour here has used his timeout, and the Hurricanes are going to talk things over as they're trying to make the Flyers play game 82. They do not want to let their Metropolitan Division rival get in the playoffs. So we'll see how this all plays out. Again, a reminder, tomorrow I'll be live. We'll see if it's the Capitals and the Blue Jackets that we cover. If not, Ducks and Wild seems like a good one, as Anaheim's looking for the Pacific Division crown and a playoff berth, as that would get underway at 8 Eastern. If we do Capitals, Blue Jackets, it'll be 7 Eastern. And then on Thursday, no idea what the Western Conference is going to look like, so that game's to be determined. And then, of course, Stanley Cup Playoffs starting Saturday and Sunday. I'll be with you alongside Matthew Owens, as I'll have the early game Saturday and Sunday, and Matt will have the primetime game Saturday, as we are ready to drop the puck here in Philly to resume overtime. Stankoven with Ehlers out there after the timeout for Rod Brind'Amour's crew against Dvorak and Couturier for Philly. The defensemen are Cam York for the Flyers, who has the puck now off a face-off win, and as well Sean Walker for the Carolina Hurricanes. So here is York behind the Philadelphia goal in the trapezoid. He's just waiting to get something started. Faked leaving it for Dvorak, who skated through the trapezoid. Now he'll snap it up the right side on the blade of Michkov, who circles back. Michkov now cutting behind his own net. He's going to park the brakes behind the Flyer goal, as the Flyers not sure what they're looking for on a breakout, but they're looking for something specific. But York just got the puck turned over thanks to Stankoven. But the pass didn't quite meet Walker, and now a pass up ahead and a breakaway. Michkov to clinch a playoff spot, and a save with the left pad by Bussy. Played back up, and now here come the Canes 2-on-1. Ehlers on the far wall pass is out of the reach of Stankoven, as now behind the Flyers goal it goes. Ehlers couldn't play it ahead. Now a diving play, stashed it to Walker. Far circle, here's Stankoven. This way again, it comes to Ehlers left wing. Under 2 minutes to go in overtime as the Hurricanes skated out to center as they want to get a change. As now Ehlers just methodically skates in his own zone, and he'll leave it for Jackson Blake, who's on now. Blake's out here with Keandre Miller at the moment, as now the third forward Taylor Hall steps on the ice, as he has the puck now at his own blue line as Blake left it. Up the left wing comes Hall, tries to squeeze past Cates, puts on the brakes in the near quarter, dropped it off. Miller, a shot, missed to the blocker side of Vladar. Now Miller on his own rebound on the far wall, skates it out to center, got it to Taylor Hall. Nice move past Cates on the near side, but can't get past Sanheim's back check as the Flyers take back over here. Sanheim up the far wall, pass intended for Forster, couldn't connect, and now trying to get back for the Hurricanes is Hall. In pursuit is Noah Cates. Noah Cates poked it off him. Now a battle in behind in the trapezoid behind the Carolina net. Final 65 of overtime as the Canes will end up with possession. Keandre Miller now gets separation in the far corner as he now waits for his mates to change as well. Under 55 seconds remain in this extra period. Here's Blake on the far wall. Stankoven's back into the Flyers zone. Back skates, left it at the far point in front of the Canes bench for Blake. Blake trying to get by on the right wing. Pivots, backhands it to Miller at the left wing dot. Looking for a tip by Stankoven and a save made by Vladar. Now Miller straight away once again. Gave it to Stankoven far wall. Now Bradley Nadeau will leave it left wing. Stankoven in. Tried to go into the slot. Got stood up by Konechny, but nudged it back Nadeau. Final 25 of overtime as the Hurricanes are still in the zone. Stankoven walking the blue line. Had to get out to center. As now Miller will skate back at his own blue line. Put it on the far boards. Nadeau now bobbling the puck. Playing it back. And now gave it to Miller in the final 10. One last rush for the Hurricanes as Miller skates it up over the far right wing into the Flyers zone. Here's a shot by Nadeau, shut down by Vladar awkwardly. And that save will send us to a shootout as we will head to penalty shootouts in this one to see if the Flyers are going to punch their ticket to the playoffs or not. So, we'll see how this plays out. Let's get the penalty shootouts up here on the score bug, as I got to remember how to find this on here. There we go, penalty shootout mode. And I believe that has that all sorted out now. There it is. All right. So to the shootout we go. Hurricanes and Flyers. If the Hurricanes win this shootout, they will clinch a playoff spot. And then if the Hurricanes win this one, they will force the Flyers to win tomorrow, or at least get overtime against the Montreal Canadiens. And the Canadiens are playing for home ice, so it's not going to be easy for the Flyers, as the Canadiens are definitely going to give their A game. So we'll see who shoots first, as the Flyers get the first, or they get the opportunity to decide here on home ice what's going to happen. As in the shootout this year, the Flyers are 9-4. They've been to a lot of shootouts, and meanwhile the Hurricanes are 5-3 in the shootouts, as they went to a shootout the last two times they met, as the Hurricanes won each of them. 4-3 was the final in the first one, 3-2 in the last meeting. Both of those games coming in December 13th and 14th, as they played a pair of home-and-home games. So after a long scrape of the ice here, it seems like we should be ready for this shootout to see what happens here. And if the Flyers win, it'll be Ducks and Wild on the channel tomorrow. And if the Hurricanes win, it'll be Capitals and Blue Jackets right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. And we'll see right here, right now, if the Flyers are in, or if they got to play one more to find out. So about the longest pause here before this shootout has officially got underway is, seems like it's waited about 3 minutes at this point since the overtime's gone away, as now the fans rise to their feet in Philadelphia, and in comes Trevor Zegras, who tries to open the scoring in the shootout. He skates wide to the far wing on the right side. Now starts to pick up the pace, skates into the slot. To the backhand, and a save by Bussy with the left pad as he went down on top of his belly to make that stop, stretching out the left pad. And Zegras comes up empty-handed here for the Flyers in this first shootout attempt. A good move for Zegras, just couldn't elevate over the pad of Bussy. And now in comes Jackson Blake. So Jackson Blake, in his second full season with the Hurricanes, enters on the right wing side to the right wing circle, looks to his forehand, now pulls to the forehand with a shot and a left pad save by Vladar, who just like Bussy went down on his belly and laid out the pads outstretched and was able to stop Jackson Blake. He went forehand, backhand, forehand, and a toe stop there by Vladar. Gets a round of applause for by the Hurricanes faithful. So round two of the shootout, here comes Michkov for the Flyers. He enters on the far right wing. Into the circle he creeps, now between the dots to the forehand, and he ran out of racetrack as he just stuffed it into the right pads of Brandon Bussy. And now the Hurricanes with an opportunity to take the lead and put the pressure on Philadelphia. So Michkov just tried to hit that pump fake with the kick in the slot, and Bussy didn't bite. And now Bradley Nadeau here, going to get a shootout attempt here for the Hurricanes, as he'll enter up on the far left wing into the circle on his backhand to the forehand with a shot and a glove save made by Vladar, as he is able to get that one, and that gets another round of applause here from the Hurricane, or from the Flyer faithful, as Bradley Nadeau, surprised they went with him instead of Stankoven, but imagine Stankoven will be next though. And now the Flyers with an opportunity to take the lead in the shootout. Travis Konechny grabs it at the red line, skates to the far wing over the Hurricane blue. Into the circle he creeps with a snapshot and a save made with the pads in the butterfly position by Brandon Bussi. And now the Hurricanes have a chance to win it here in round number 3. And we'll see if it will be Logan Stankoven that Rod Brindamore sends over the boards. And it's going to be K'Andre Miller. Actually, he's got goals in back-to-back games and an opportunity to win it here for the Hurricanes in the shootout. Up the left wing he goes with speed into the circle, cutting in with a backhand, and it's off the tip of the glove of Vladar as we will go into a 4th round now as K'Andre Miller comes up empty-handed with that opportunity. So he had the right move. He made it he elevated it too, but just the tip of the glove of Vladar was able to get enough. And now Forster with an opportunity to give the Flyers the lead. A slow, methodical creep in between the circles. On his forehand with a snapper, he scores! Flyers take the lead in the shootout, and now they need a save from Dan Vladar to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. So Forster goes far side past the glove of Bussi just inside the post. And now here comes Nikishin with an opportunity to tie it for the Hurricanes as he creeps it on the far side at the left wing circle. He's in with a shot and a save by Vladar. And the Flyers are going to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And they celebrate down in the blue paint as they all crowd Dan Vladar in celebration as everybody in Xfinity Mobile Arena is celebrating. Everyone is standing as for the first time since 2020 and for the first time since 2018 with fans, the Philadelphia Flyers are headed back to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. They have a date with the Pittsburgh Penguins in round number 1 as the hero in this one in the shootout for the Flyers was Tyson Forster, and Dan Vladar with the big save on Nikishin gets the Flyers into the big dance. So they'll take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game 1 of that series is likely to begin Saturday. And if I had to guess, that will probably be the primetime game in both the United States and Canada. I'd like to make a case for Montreal. Maybe if they win the division and play Boston, that's still on the table. But my guess is that they will roll with Sidney Crosby in primetime in both the United States and Canada. But it might be Montreal versus whoever they play. But the Flyers have punched their ticket here to the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, as Bradley Nadeau and Nick Ehlers did enough to clinch the top seed in the East for the Hurricanes as they scored to make it 2-0 Carolina early in the first period. Nadeau's third of the year from Ehlers and Walker. Then Nick Ehlers from Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake on the power play made it 2-0 Carolina. Then Matvei Michkov from Barkey and Cates got the Flyers on the board. Zegras on the power play from Martone and Forrester tied it. And then we went all the way to a shootout where it ended up being Tyson Forrester with the shootout winning goal. As the Flyers are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs, this building will be rocking for the Battle of Pennsylvania, as the ratings for that will be spectacular. Sorry to Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals. Grade 8 might not see another game in his NHL career after tomorrow. We'll see what his decision is over the summer. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, after a tremendous push under new head coach Rick Bowness, are going to fall short as they are both now eliminated. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. What we're going to end up doing now is we'll check the score real quick of the Predators and Sharks game and see if the Ducks are on their way to clinching a playoff spot or not. And the Sharks up 1-0 here in the third. So if the Sharks end up winning, that means that the Anaheim Ducks will not clinch they will clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. and they will be battling for division seeding as they are 1 point back of Vegas, tied with Edmonton, and a win tomorrow could put them in the division lead. And right now, getting ready to start in Vegas, the Golden Knights and the Jets, as the Vegas Golden Knights look to keep the point streak rolling under John Tortorella as they're trying to win that Pacific Division. A loss by them tonight could put Anaheim in the driver's seat come tomorrow to try and take the Pacific Division lead, but they have been struggling as of late. So we'll see how that all plays out. But the Eastern Conference playoff bracket has been set. The Flyers clinch. They're going to play the Pittsburgh Penguins in round number 1 starting on Saturday. And that game will likely be right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. I'll talk to you all tomorrow right here from St. Paul. Ducks and Wild getting underway at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and I'll be back Thursday as well for the conclusion of the Western Conference playoff race. We'll see which game means what on that very day. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. The final tonight, Flyers 3-2 in the shootout over the Hurricanes as they punch their ticket to the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. This has been a presentation of the NHL right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Again, Jaric Rubel saying so long and good night from Philadelphia.